Right, lads, how are you? Right,
Oh,
Conall,
good.
how are you? You all right?
Well, lads, how are we? What's crack?
How are you?
Oh, Daz.
That's better. I think I prefer that look.
Yeah, definitely.
Bohemian fan group and Barstools. Obviously, we're here for Bohemians and Dundalk, which is at Oriel Park. So, it's an intriguing game, lads, isn't it? Obviously, Conall. Do you want to plug Barstools before we start, actually, there, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're Barstoolers, and you might hear that term thrown around League of Ireland circles, and it's because I host the Premier League podcast. I'd love to do a League of Ireland podcast, but there's only so much time. So yeah, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on YouTube as well, closing in on 100 subscribers. Small goals. We're going to be doing a giveaway very soon, actually, that will require you to get subscribed. So, if you're interested in that, it'll be... I'm not exactly sure what it'll be yet. It'll either be a sort of mystery football box or possibly a voucher or something like that to Amazon. So, good prize, I think. So, appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel.
Fantastic stuff, Conall. Do you want to plug your Bohemians fan group on Facebook there?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Key. Hi, Conall. What's crack? So, yeah, I'm the owner of Bohemian FC fan group on Facebook. It's a group for League of Ireland, Bohs mainly. It's a Bohs group. All League of Ireland news and Ireland fan news. So if you're a Bohs fan or a League of Ireland fan or Ireland team fan or League of Ireland fan, feel free to join into the group and take part in discussions. We talk all things League of Ireland in it.
Fantastic, Daz. Now, obviously a big game. Have you got the team news there? Conall, I'll go for you first. No.
Yeah, so looking at the Dundalk lineup here, it's Peter Cherry and Nets, so no Alessio Abibi. At right back, presumably it's Rivas Yarkovskis, Daniel Cleary, Andy Boyle, and Cameron Dummigan. So certainly looks like a back four. Chris Shields and Sam Stanton in midfield. And then you've got Ollie Eric Mitz-Cogan, Han Jung-woo, Michael Duffy, and Patrick Hubin. Remains to be seen where they'll play. I think it'll probably be Mitz-Cogan on the right and Han in the number 10 position, but remains to be seen.
What do you think of the team overall yourself? You happy? Is there anything you would have changed yourself?
It's interesting. Obviously a couple of changes. The big news, I suppose, will be that it's four at the back, and there's no Alessio Abibi. Peter Cherry's been preferred. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. A lot of people are on Abibi's back, but they've scouted Abibi all winter. They've said you're going to be our first choice keeper, and then to drop him 3 games in, I think it's disappointing. I think he should be given a chance.
I actually agree, to be honest with you as well. He's made a couple of mistakes, but he hasn't been completely disastrous. You don't know how good he is.
Yeah.
You're not going to know that for 2 or 3 games. Maybe that shows their passion a little bit, management performance. If Dundalk had won the first couple of games, let's say, and even he made a mistake or 2, I think he's in the team.
Yeah.
He
would have said, well, he didn't win us. We didn't win, but he saved us against Sligo.
Exactly. Daz, what do you got for us, Bohemian?
So, in goals, Talbot, to be expected. Andy Lyons, Cornwall, Finnerty, Wilson in the backs. Wilson obviously comes in replacing Breslin. Coote, Buckley, Tierney, Ward, Burt in the midfield. And Kelly looks like he's playing as a lone striker. Maybe Burt's playing behind him. He played wide left last time against St. Pat's. Interesting team. It's good to see Tierney still in the team. Wilson's coming in to make his debut. Big game for Lindsay and Cornwall. To come in again, and they need to step up the game now this week. Big time. Lindsay was okay last week, but you can do an awful lot more. It'd be great if Kelly got a goal tonight. Wardy comes in then as well. I'm unsure where he's going to play. Is he going to play centrally or on the wing? He could be on the wing. We're not entirely sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. But here he's on the bench and no Levingston again. So we have an interesting one there.
Looks like there's a lack of wit in the team, though.
Yeah, I do think there is a lack of wit in the team. We are missing Allen and Sherry. They're both injured. So our 2 probably starting wingers are out.
It's it's interesting because I don't think any of them are wingers. Like, you couldn't imagine Ward on the wing. I mean, he could be on the wing, but I don't know.
Very slow now. He's on the wing.
Look, we're talking about two clubs here. Ironically, you know what I mean? A lot of people say they could challenge Rovers. Even some people say that at Bohemians. I personally didn't go that far, I have to say. But people did think that. And people thought Dundalk in particular as well. Now, it's early in the season. But I suppose my point is, at least one of these teams is going to be winless after this game. At least one of them. And even a bit early, there's a bit of pressure. I think there's more pressure probably on Dundalk in many ways. Because Dundalk kind of fills up a reserve a little bit. A lot of people will be looking at the manager perhaps as well. And what do you think of the whole situation, Conall, actually? The whole management situation at Dundalk?
To be honest, I'm kind of sick of hearing about it. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's very straightforward. Filippo's the manager, Giuseppe Rossi's the assistant manager, and Shane Keegan's the coach. I don't think there's too much more to it, to be honest. Obviously, apart from that, Filippo's manager, do you think he's the right man, though? I think that's my point more. Probably not. But I would absolutely like to see him given time. I'm a massive believer in coaches being given time. There was our league form last year when he was still the interim boss was very poor, but there's a lot of factors then with the Europa League. So again, I just want to see him given time. I'm Filippo on the fence, but basically positive. No,
coming up there. No, you're 100%. Like, coming after the Kenny year in many ways, isn't it? Like, it's different. Like, Vinny Perk came so close to winning a treble, which didn't even do that. He lost his job, so for me, it was for not necessarily football reasons, other stuff going on as well, and that came to a halt, I think. But I suppose at the moment when people don't play, both forward look fine, in my opinion. It creates so many chances to turn the overs. Like, no other team I don't believe would be capable of doing so. But then when they don't have the ball, there looks like a lack of organisation. Now, I don't know why that is, if it's because of so many new players as such. But you'd have to look at the management there to sort that out off the ball. They tend to have the two full-backs as wing-backs, and the two central defenders are often isolated. Now, sometimes Shields kind of cuts in to be the third defender, and then they lose it in the midfield. So I'm not really sure. I'm possibly sure what they play, though, because I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to do off the ball. I'm trying to see it from their point of view as well and see what it is exactly they're trying to do. It's difficult at the moment. What do you think?
Look, it's not preferable. One thing I would like to say before the match is the fact, Brian Gartland, obviously, he suffered an ACL injury against Shamrock Rovers last week. Everybody will probably know that by this stage. And that's very disappointing. We've lost a key figure, a key defender. But that leaves us now with 3 senior centre-backs.
Yeah.
We've come into the season wanting to play 3 at the back. Surely there should be another 2 centre-backs signed by now. With the recruitment process, I haven't had too much of a problem. I think it was necessary. Sorry?
Ironically, because there is a big squad of them,
yeah, so... Yeah, fairly big. We weren't able to field a full bench against Finn Harps 2 weeks ago, though. I think Sahibo is going to be coming in, and probably another centre-back, to be fair, so it will bolster a wee bit.
Are you confident, Daz, ahead of this match, or is there apprehension?
Yeah, I'm fully confident. We'll be going out, we'll be wearing to get a win. The lads will be buzzed up. Both teams will win this. It's a huge game for both of these teams, a huge game. If it's a draw, both teams still don't have a win. And it looks like it has a draw written all over it in ways, Interesting that Dundalk changed the keeper to Peter Cherry, vastly experienced keeper. I think it was last year, 2014. He's a good keeper, and he'll be really wanting to come in and cement his position in the team. He could be a vital player tonight for Dundalk, and that's not being talked about enough. If he really performs tonight and keeps us out, that's him number 1 then for Dundalk going forward. in terms of us, it's going to be very hard on the wings. Malin is obviously out. Omar Sherry is obviously out. If Ward's there, he's going to get caught for pace. Ali Coote, he can play in the wing. But I think it's a very big match. I do think we will win tonight. I hope we do. I think it's going to be a 1-0 Bohs tonight for me.
I do think one issue for both teams there is the fact that I think Dundalk defensively have been more dodgy down their flanks in the last couple of games. And not necessarily because the wing backs are bad, because their toes get forward every time. And Bohs don't really have. If this was Grant and Tortic last season, they'd have the ammunition to really take advantage there. But we're not sure how they're lining up there. I mean, Burke and Coote, as you say, can play on the wing, but it's can play on the wing. They're not actually wingers as such. That's the interesting point. It's going to be fascinating. I don't know. I'm just like Pat's one in the top of the league. That's all.
Yeah, look, everything you said there.
That might be the only time to make this season,
Everything you said there is so true. Like, Wright was our top scorer. He's gone. Danny Grant's gone to England. We all know what he can do. Twadrak went to the Polish team for the season finish. They're very, very hard players to replace. And in our league, you're not going to replace them unless you spend money by either offering the player high wages or going to the foreign market like Dundalk has done and bought someone. And we didn't do that. So it's going to be very, very hard for our players to step in and do it. But Keith's proving time and time again he's able to get players to do it. So we have to see how we do and how we develop throughout the season.
There's Philip Kelly. He's actually a Dundalk fan. I don't know if you know who he is, but Bohs don't win out the shots. He's not very confident, Conall.
Hi, Philip.
It's reverse psychology. Sometimes when you predict your team to lose, you hope they win. Do you ever get that as well?
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, as Daz said there, I think this game's got draw written all over it. Both teams will want to win, but neither will want to lose.
Exactly.
I feel like it's just going to be cagey. It's going to be a 0-0 or something.
I like the both teams will literally just go for it completely. But Dundalk, like the funny thing with Dundalk, their matches have been enjoyable to watch because they've been good going forward. So from a news perspective, Dundalk have been lovely to watch. But they've lost that thing that they had. Like Garland there getting that injury, that was a horrible injury. He's gone for maybe the season, especially especially at his age. And he may never be back like the Brian Garland, to be honest with you. But these things happen. But Nanastad is still out as well through suspension. He looks like a monster. He's a giant. He's going to cause problems at set pieces the other way in games this season as well. But it's all about finding that. They still have to support. Like Duffy, I thought was very good against Cameron, by the way. It wasn't his fault as such that they ended up losing the match. He's excellent against Cameron. So, you still have your Duffys, you still have these kind of players. McElhenney, who's not available today. He's your reason.
He's on the bench. Yeah, he's just back, but probably half fit, See,
that's the problem with McElhenney. He's pick up the few injuries. It's me now.
You're just looking at it here. It seems to be Mitzkogan on the right and Han in the middle. I think that's correct.
That's interesting. Yeah. They might switch it up as well, though.
Are all our streams synced up? It's about to kick off here for me.
Mine is on now. Is yours kicked off? How many seconds?
The clock hasn't even come up yet for me. It's
same with me, yeah.
Why are you on that?
Just kicked off there now. Oh, BJ's is long ball already. Come on, boys.
I might say nothing if it's a goal.
Yeah.
I'm just getting stuck in already.
Oh, Jesus. I'm in the 15th second.
I'm 21st. Sure, if I pause it for 6 seconds.
Yeah. It's actually very hard to get into a line, isn't it, actually? Really
There's been big problems to watch League of Ireland this season. As Keith Metton said, on the video.
I paused it for 6 seconds, but it just skipped forward again.
No way. Maybe I'll click out of it and back into it and see where I end up.
Maybe, yeah.
Hopefully you don't lose it now.
The one thing that still sickens me about these games is the lack of a replay. I was watching the game earlier. Did you see Darragh Burton's goal? By any chance, no? Anyway, it was a good goal, but I was expecting to see it again, and then you kind of go, there's no replays. There's a league scales goal scored the other week, it's Dundalk, fantastic goal.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a replay, and you just realise then there's none. This is simple stuff, I think, personally. It's just purely arcadian at replays of the games, for God's sake.
I'm on 130 now.
140.
133.
We're really like,
say nothing if something happens.
It usually takes 5 seconds to realize what happened anyway, so you're not like.
It just goes to show, though, like, it's mad how the three of us can't actually got in the same second for a live stream.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting now for the league. Oh, yes.
I've seen other YouTubers as well, and I've seen like the Premiership games and things like that, and it's just you get people telling them the goal is scored, and they could be a minute behind or something, like, you know. I mean, you can see they know, but just because it ruins the whole thing, like, you know. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's got Sam Stanton in the midfield, and he came with a reasonable pedigree, but I haven't been too convinced by him so far. He looks very lightweight. Very good technically, but very lightweight.
Is that free in? Yeah, I think it is. Is that Han playing?
Yeah, Han Jiang-Wu. Yeah.
Actually,
Numbers
Stanton
did well.
Number 70, brilliant.
Stanton right in Q played a nice ball through, actually.
Yeah, just as I said, Stanton wasn't much use. He put a nice ball in.
But again, these are players. Like, the other thing is, like, you're talking about players coming into the country during COVID, which makes it hard enough.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming in where, I don't know what they're doing, they're staying in with housemates or whatever, but they can't go anywhere. It does make a big difference, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming to a new country there, so.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that all the players Dundalk have brought in are good footballers. The question is, can they fit in? The question is,
well, history would suggest most of them probably won't, you know?
Yeah. That's it as well. They're not all going to say, there's a chance. Oh, the bar.
Oh, no.
Still not happening for me. Still a free kick here.
Still a free kick for me as well.
I have to try and remember that. I'll try and go back to the Daz trick.
Straight away already with Bohs, I've noticed that they're defending from the front and they're pressing really high up. They didn't do that at all last week against Pats. They sit back, let Pats play out. They didn't press them off in their front, so they've really changed how they're going at this game. It's something I wanted to see, and I'm happy that they're doing it, but hopefully they don't run out of steam now doing this, because you even see what Ireland, when you press all the time, by the 60, 70 minute, you could be, I'll get now a fuel to the tank, like, so hopefully they keep going this, but it's good so far.
I think during a game, I think managers sometimes press up in 10 minutes, maybe. It's still ahead of you, yeah? 4:44.
I'm 4:40.
I'm 4:42. So, we're around the same now. That's good.
Well, Dundalk, we have started on the front walsh, you would say, so far, in fairness. Maybe also their theory. It's a good tempo.
Yeah, very good. What have you made of Georgie Kelly so far, Daz?
Well, look, we're on the 4th game in now so far, so you can't really judge a player after 4 games. You can't say if they're poor, if they're good at the 4 games. He could score in every game in 4 games and then not score for the rest of the season. But he could also not score these 4 games and score in every game in the rest of the season. But from what I've seen so far, he is what he's going to be. He's a target player. He needs someone feeding the ball into him, and I think he needs to be beside someone. He was feeding off scraps against Pats. He did his best. He got stuck in. I think he's going to have a big season, and there's more of him to come. And I'm definitely not going to dash any Bohs player ever. And I'm happy that he's here, and I do think he'll make a good contribution to the season.
I'm going to say Pats.
Sorry?
I'm going to say he was awful at St. Pat's, though.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. He was, whenever he played for Dundalk, he was quite good.
I have to say, Roman Coughlin so far has been 10 times the player Kelly was a Pats, in all honesty.
Yeah, Coughlin was brilliant.
Everything was just fun. I was surprised. I expected more from Kelly, if I'm honest with you, because of how he did it at Dundalk. I was a little bit surprised Bohs took him up. I think he can do better at Bohs, but I don't think he'll be the player that everyone kind of thought he was going to be when he left Dundalk, if you get me. Everyone thought, he used to Dundalk, he'd fly and score loads of goals. I don't think he'll do that, though. But he could improve at Bohs. I'm not saying he won't. It's an interesting one, because he'll have a full season at Bohs as well, whereas he didn't have that at Pats, to be fair. So,
and he's going to be like the number one striker with us too. He's going to be playing every week, most weeks.
He's not the
probably suits Bo's style of play as well. Relatively direct, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, go on.
Getting the weight.
I know it's early in the season, but who would you say if you had to pick as being the best player for your club so far? I know it's very early, but.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me, King.
Probably Hubin's been very good. He's already got a couple of goals, and he probably could have had a couple more. But I'd probably have to go with the new lad, Rivas Yarkovskis. He has been brilliant. He didn't play against Finn Harps, and he was a massive miss. He's far exceeded my expectations. He looks brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think he's good as well. And when I was talking about Dundalk getting exposed, I think then the wings, that's a tactical thing. You know, they're not like they're just, it's a tactical thing. They're caught up all the time. They're told to do what can you do, you know. But it's an interesting one. I think they need to sort that out a little bit. As you say, 3 at the back would help. But they obviously haven't done that so far. Chris, do you see Chris Beals leaving Dundalk at the end of the season there? It's a bit of a question in there.
Chris,
contract. He's had a contract.
I think he would be. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think he's very, very settled. But you never know. He's a player I've been shocked has never really been linked with a move away, because he's top class.
Yeah. You think Shamrock Rovers at one point, you know yourself, would be linked.
Even a Scottish team, like, you know, you seen McAneff going to Scotland. You know, he seems like he would suit that league or team in the top 4 or 5 in Scotland.
He was one of those players that really got better with agency. So when he was young, he was good, but he wasn't, you know, top Chris Shields. He really got better with age, Chris Shields, I thought.
Well, he nearly got a move away before Kenny came over.
Because
he was on trial with, I don't know if he was on trial, but he went over to Carlisle anyway in some capacity. Didn't end up signing, thankfully. It's amazing.
Players do want to actually play in Ireland, and if you're getting a decent wage, and let's be honest, talking Shamrock Rovers, you're getting a fairly decent wage, unless you're going to, a very, very decent club in the Championship or League One, even. You want to stay in Ireland as well.
You know, he doesn't live too far away. He lives in Bangor in the north, and he's very settled there. So I certainly don't see him going across the water anyway. So I don't know who he'd go to really.
For Bohs as well, I don't see him going to either, to be honest, unless I think
it would just be more of a commute, because he lives in the north. So unless a club in the north offers him a lot, just a
bit of loads as well, but. I see him saying it on Dundalk. I think he'd probably sign a new contract. Or there's a chance.
Testimonial.
He's still behind. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, Hugan's about to cross it in here. Rivas.
I'll try and say
he's got to get.
Hard when you see an opportunity, isn't it?
He's got to score that.
Yeah, Dundalk do well on top in terms of opportunities. Far and that shot across the goal. Bohs are, as you say, Bohs are a bit more of a pressing game, but you can get caught then in behind.
I think for me though, in the first 10 minutes, Bohs look a bit more solid than they did in the first 3 games this season, bar maybe Longford. They're passing a lot more, they're moving a bit more. When someone passes, they're making more space. They're really pressing as a unit going forward. So I think they're looking a bit more organised than me.
You see this? You saw it?
Yeah, I just don't know if I can believe it.
Is it a penalty? Is he
I
giving a
think so. That didn't look in the box.
turn down a bit because like when I have it loud, it comes across too much in this. Has he given a penalty? He has given a penalty.
I'm fairly sure he pointed the spot, yeah.
Now again, without the benefit of replay, I can't really say there if that was a penalty.
Kelly, come on, Kelly.
An hour later, it's a penalty.
I absolutely cannot believe that's a penalty. That looks like a joke of a decision.
I'll be honest, I didn't see it properly. I didn't actually think about it. I really didn't see it properly. What do you think happened?
My heart's going empty.
I expect nothing and I'm still disappointed.
No spoilers now, Keith.
No, I won't.
Neutral fence. Come on, Kelly. Yes! The Bohs!
What did you think, guys, of the penalty? Because honestly, and this is the problem with replays, I didn't see it properly. It wasn't a penalty.
It was a penalty all day long, so it was.
Nah. I can't say. I can't even be outraged because there's no replay.
No,
there's no replay. Yeah,
from what I've seen, it looked disgraceful.
But anyway, especially against Run of Play, Bohs are in front 1-0. It has to be said, and this is a test there for Dundalk. Obviously, like because you felt the team that conceded the first goal, you know, the confidence will probably drop a bit because of the way they've both been playing or both getting results, I suppose. But look, an early goal always makes the game interesting. So, what's going on here? Last week, Tom Waller, Califor's last week. So he's trying to suggest it wasn't a penalty. You know.
Dundalk could have had a couple of penalties in Tala as well. Greg Sloggett was taken down, and what else was up? There was another one I can't remember.
Look, I think sometimes you need a bit of luck, and you're going to win some, and you're going to lose some. Penalties are going to come for you and against you. It's the way football is, and look, whether it was penalty or not, we got it, and Kelly put it away, and I will comfortably take a 1-0 win.
This is really open. It's a very open game. Space in midfield for both teams to play with. No space. I can see some players always going to finish top 4, but I mean, no one thought Sligo were going to finish top 4 last season after 4 games and they had no points. So, and that was in half a season they got it back. I think it's too far early to guess and anyone's going to finish top 4 or not top 4. To be honest with you, I do think though. I do think Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers. I don't think Dundalk are quite the same as they were a few years ago, obviously. I do think Shamrock Rovers are a bit weaker without McInnes and Jack Burns slightly. And I do think the weaker teams are slightly stronger. So it's making the league a little bit condensed, I think, as well, which is interesting.
Absolutely, that's so true. You know, a few of the best players in the league are gone out of it. There's a few unknown players on Dundalk, say, that have come in. You know, Waterford have signed a lot of foreign players that nobody knows anything about. And as you said yourself, on paper, the lesser teams got that bit better, and the better teams got that bit weaker, maybe. So it's all balanced out a bit more and be a lot more competitive this season, I think, as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I'll tell you a player there, just there that hasn't really impressed me at Dundalk, though, is Sloggett. I don't think he's really brought his Derry form to Dundalk. What do you think of him generally?
I'm a massive fan of Greg Sloggett, to be honest. I think he can.
I do think, I don't know, he just hasn't. I'm a massive fan of him as well, but he hasn't really. Has he performed this season, really, though, in the games, I suppose? This season?
Probably not.
Yeah, in fairness, he's not the only one so far, but. I do like him. He's got a good engine. He can get up and down.
Yeah.
There's a bit of physical presence about him. But I suppose he hasn't been brilliant this season. Yes.
His Instagram's well worth a follow. He does saxophone solos on it. Brilliant.
Saxophone solo.
Yeah.
I thought he was an Arsenal fan, but he's not apparently.
No, it was just he got the jersey from the game.
Yeah. Who does he support, actually? Do we know this?
I think he's a United fan, I think.
Yeah. Nice saxophone solo, to be fair. Give him that.
Yeah. Piano as well, actually. He's
a music fan. Yeah. Where's he from? I know he's a Mead man, like myself, but do you know where he's from? I can't figure it out.
Oh, I actually don't know.
It seems to know where he's from, which is strange.
No, I don't know.
And I can't tell really with the accent either. It's a difficult one to tell. Because Mead is just have 100 different accents, like.
Yeah.
So unless it's Navan, it's definitely not Navan, I can tell you that. It's open though. It is an open game. Like there's no.
It's very fast paced.
Very fast paced.
I must be behind Bo.
What's that, Daz?
I think I'm behind Bo. A few seconds behind Bo.
Oh, what a goal! No, didn't work. I'm still struggling with that nut. I'm eating no more because that's after getting caught there. It's not good. No,
tell you what, lads,
and you just keep going. You won't go for it in a restaurant, you know. Forgot what a restaurant was.
Tell you what, lads, I've been disappointed with Harry so far this season. You know, he's not getting in the team. He's on the bench. He's a marquee sign if you want. Probably one of the highest paid players at our club. You know, he came on, he was lazy. He made a mistake against, I think it was Longford that week. Very disappointed with him so far. Probably the worst sign of the season so far. It's a long season to go, and I'm sure he'll step up. But you know, if the marquee player and he's not starting, it's frustrating.
He hasn't played well for 2 years up north, apparently, either. And I'm surprised Bohs signed him. I was very surprised that Pats were after him as well, the way Pats are trying to play now as well. And I did say to you, I think we dodged a bullet there. But now, again, he could go on to have the Bohs picked from the bench, but I didn't see him as a guaranteed Bohs starter by any means. And so far, he hasn't been.
No, definitely not.
Getting results, and he's still not starting.
That's it, yeah, that's the thing. But with Harry, you know, he's that luxury player that can string that pass, that can score that goal, that can find that player, that can get that bit of space. He has that spark about him that not every player has, but it's getting that out of him in the game is when it all comes down to. You know, it's terrible having a player on the team that might be a passenger and do nothing all game. We see it, at every level, you know, and it's frustrating. And if you're a team like Bohs, where you need everyone trying, everyone pressing, everyone going for the ball, you can't be dragging someone through a game. And I hope he doesn't turn out to be a player like that for us now.
See, he doesn't do that. He won't do the pressing and the dirty work. He wants to get in the ball, and he wants to have his own time with the ball. And he got caught there in one of the games because of that as well. Who was that against? Longford, actually.
Yes. We conceded a goal then because of that.
Was that to make it 2-1, was it?
Yes.
That brought Longford back into the game, he hasn't been seen since.
He's came on, but he's been on the bench. He's on the bench there again today. It'd be interesting to see if he comes on. I think so far, lads, it's been a good game. Bohs are definitely playing a lot better, I think. They're pressing a lot more. They're looking a lot more organised, a lot more preferred. Getting an early goal is obviously very important for any team, and hopefully we'll kick on from this now and get our first win this season. Don't want to jinx us yet, and we're playing very well. I'm delighted with how things are going.
Push bosh thoughts on the love, yeah? On the love. That happened a minute ago. What's the odds of the Sharks finishing over?
What's the title race this year? The Mighty Hearts versus the Hoops. Come on, Harps. I'd love for Harps in the league, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone would, yeah.
Your own team, maybe. It'd be just madness, you know?
It'd be brilliant.
Just Ali Horgan going on about how he's already fearing playing in the Champions League, you know?
He's brilliant.
Who am I going to sign?
I was lucky enough to
just worrying.
I was lucky enough, to get the Drogheda Harps last week, and couldn't believe how quiet Ali was. I was actually very disappointed. Last 10
that's
minutes,
awful, yeah.
He just the last 10 minutes. He got booked, of course, as well, with like 3 minutes to go. And then he came back another goal with the referee. I was sure he was going to get a red. He's brilliant. He's a character. Like, you need them characters as well, don't you, as well?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Let's be honest, lads. Finn Harps are just clear of Dundalk. The Finn Harps.
I mean, the table doesn't lie, does it?
In fairness, though, they're doing better than it should be early on. You have to get your slagging in because that might be it. I don't know if you know Michael McCattle, is it?
Yeah, he's one of my mates. He's a fellow member of the podcast.
In bad need of a trim, he says.
I think I need to get the razor out, shave the head.
Here's a corner now to Dundalk.
Yeah. Mitch Cogan's a weird one because he's 6'4", a right winger and left-footed. Oh, yeah. It doesn't seem like an ideal type of right winger, really.
Well, definitely not. This is that basketball style there. Bohs of a corner now. 2 seconds ago, Dundalk had a corner.
I'm just on the Bohs corner now. These new players don't have passion for the club at all.
I think it's too early to say that, to be fair, though.
Yeah. It is,
But no, he's right in a way, but you can't expect anything else. If you're a new player, you can't come in to automatically have passion for the situation. But they're professionals, and it's too early to be actually flagging off players, essentially, I think, individually. I'm not sure. I'm like you. I'm not sure about Filippo. Time will tell, but I'm not too sure about him. How he manages the team and how he sets them up. But the raw materials, though. You see some of their footballers are playing nice football. Here you come again. Duffy. There's good movement there.
With the ball. Hand looks tidy.
He does. Off the ball moving, very good too. This isn't finishing one day. I'd be shocked if this finishes one day.
Yeah.
I have to say, they all have to consider themselves a little, even apart from the penalty, whether it was a penalty or not, is irrelevant. They can consider themselves a little unlucky to be losing the match on balance of play, I think. They've had a couple of opportunities, I think. Indecent games, Jake Davis is not a fan, by the way. So far, Bohs been doing bits. Yeah, Jake would say that he's a drop of fan. This is the worst form of the 2010s. It wants to stop before it's too late. Well, in fairness, Dundalk have had some runs since 2012, so that has to be taken into consideration as well. They haven't finished outside the top two, apart from last season, in a half season as well, I might add, and they won the cup. So,
yeah, look, it's going to happen to teams, like teams are going to, if they're dominating a league or a division or a country, there's going to be a time where they're going to drop a little bit. Players are going to become a bit more rusty. They're going to get that bit older. A manager's going to come and go, as we've seen with Stephen Kenny. And once you have a legendary manager leave a club, like we've all seen what happened with Man United. Man United fell apart, and they were never near what they're like when Fergie was there. And, Dundalk look to be going through a transitional phase now. Kenny's gone. There's a mix-up with Shane Keegan and Filippo. Who's actually managing the team? No one knows. Lots of new players came in, players left. It's going to take time for them to rebuild and probably challenge again. But by no way means the season is not over after 4 games. Dundalk would still win the league. Let's be honest about it here. There's 4 games gone, and Dundalk haven't even lost this game tonight yet. They could win it still. So.
They still have at least the second best squad in the league, at least in terms of individual talent.
Yeah, definitely.
Arguably the best, but certainly they're definitely in the top 2. That doesn't mean you're going to finish ahead of certain teams necessarily, because there is a rebuilding process there, and we know it's all about teams coming together, gelling, and all those kind of things. And I know we said it before, but so many players come in from various countries during COVID. Has to make it more difficult to actually gel, because gelling. Oh, here we go. Greg Solis from Gorman saying, "Hey, thank you. Took me about 2 years to know that. Fair play to you, Brian." There's 32 games to stop this shambles. Philip is getting very upset. In all seriousness,
look, you can't accuse him of sitting on the fence.
Yeah, he's very upset. In all seriousness, though, I hate to see Pat's doing well, but it's good to see Dundalk fall apart and Bohs just doing the usual. He's a Shamrock Rovers fan, that is. We need a manager to do a Tuchel job. Get Frank Lampard in for them.
He could run a draw against Bohs.
Yeah, that's it.
Very true.
Hammer. If Harps won the league, I'll get the statue. I don't think he gets more than a statue if Harps won the league.
I think they should rename the town
New
after
stadium. New stadium.
Yeah, free new stadium.
Pat.
Yeah.
Could have done better there.
There's chances though. Like Dundalk, this is typical Dundalk actually in all their games so far. They are creating opportunities, just not taking them. Like against Stramach Rovers, they took Woodward 3 times and Man's makes a good save, good opportunities. Steve, what are the odds in getting the Dundalk job? Is there such thing as 0? These could be my assistant. We'll try that, will we?
No bother. I'll set out the cones.
I'll just shout at everyone. Daz, what are you going to do? You'll be up doing the tactics, right? That's on you.
Kitman. I'll be Kitman.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Trish, you've had a good start in the first division, actually. Haven't conceded a goal yet.
Yeah, that's been very interesting to look at that now. A completely new team, new players, new management. It's been brilliant for them and absolutely fair play to them, and they're doing really, really well.
Cabinteely Galway game was called off, by the way, because of a case of COVID. Now, I was under the impression that the games weren't going to be cancelled if there was a case of COVID in the camp this year, that you had to play your under-19s. So I don't know what's going on there. Galway travelled up to the game and everything and found this out. So I'm not sure.
That's a joke.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've heard the last of this situation.
Like, for me, it's a case of... Sorry there. I was saying there, for me, if it's a case of a player is confirmed and he's a close contact with 4 or 5 players, surely they have 11 plus players to play, the game should go ahead.
This was the point though been made, wasn't it? I thought this was the case as well. And I was talking to the clubs and he confirmed that was the case as well. So I don't know if there's going to be appeals and stuff, but Galway for me should just get the 3 points easy.
Absolutely, yeah. It should be 3-0 with them.
Yeah, because we can't. We said before, the reason for this was we can't be going into the season with games getting cancelled. The FAI said that. So I don't know. Galway surely will kick it. Will dig in there, especially when you've travelled to the game as well. So we haven't passed that anyway. To be honest, I don't think anyone do a job of talking back teams, but they're no longer great. Yeah, but they have the finance. Let's be honest, they have the finances and the structures to get it right. That's the point. So you can't rule them out because of that. And they're actually playing all right here as well. Actually, Bohs are playing better than they played in a while as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're playing the best so far this season, I think. Even against Rockford.
Yeah,
they're more fluid, they're more confident, their movement's a lot better, the passing's a lot more crisp, they're finding players, they're getting up the field, they're pressing really well. Yeah, they're doing really, really good.
Yeah. And Dundalk, in fairness, see them here to Harry, and they're pressing well as well, so it's press on press, really.
It's a high tempo game. It's a very high tempo.
Shields up very high.
What's that? Both teams are very high.
Yeah.
Shields
is pressing very high. Yeah.
See there. I don't know if you can see it now because I'm ahead, but see the way the 2 centre backs sometimes are isolated. I know they have the ball, but often it breaks down and the full backs are too far, if you get me, and that's where they get caught sometimes.
Could probably get away with it in this game though, with the lack of width Bohs have, and Georgie Kelly's not too much of a threat in the counter.
Yeah,
he's quickest,
not.
And only realistically, when it's just 2 centre backs in a row, they're going to stick Kelly in the middle of them 2 ones, and he's going to press whoever has the ball. So they'll have a free man and a goalie to try and make a pass. Really, if they're going to go that way, because we don't have anyone fast in front to press and actually break down the play. It is somewhere Pat could get caught in, but I think they're aware that we don't have the wingers, so they're taking that chance to have players further up the field.
Yeah.
Here's some not going forward for me now.
Like look at him there. Like he's just not the most coordinated, is he, Muskogan?
He looks a bit
doesn't look like a winger.
No, he doesn't look like a winger. He looks like the Andy Carroll type of striker. He doesn't look like a winger anyway.
Yeah. Could have broke for a hand there.
I still think it's early in the season, though. A lot of people get excited. I mean, last season, as I said, we're talking about half a season, and the amount of changes that happened within that season was unreal. I mean, Shelburne starting off great in the Premier, ultimately got sucked down And I think the longer the season went on, Shelburne would have been further down there as well, if you get me, like, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but even if you were to count the number of new players on this pitch tonight, there's a lot. And that's from two teams from just one season ago, a few months ago.
Look at that from Stanton.
Yeah, that was poor, wasn't it?
I just seen it there now.
Yeah.
That was poor, yeah. It was. Interesting to see Bohs are trying to play out at times when they can as well, so that's been good to see. Bohs have been trying to play out, you know, around the backs when they can. They weren't doing that at all at the start of the season, so they've changed how they played, and it's what a lot of the fans in the fan group were wanting Bohs to start playing ball more, because we don't have a tall team, we don't have a physical team. We only have one, maybe two physical players, so hitting the long ball all the time, it's not going to work. Like, you know, I'm happy that they're trying to play a bit different now.
Can get on the ball and a central midfield player, and it's weird for all the midfielders Bohs have they got a player like that, really, though? You could argue here, you know what I mean, though?
You want about a physical player?
No, I mean someone dropping deep to pick up the ball from the centre backs and get them moving. I'm not sure Bohs have a player like that. Really?
No, you're looking at Hearing. You're looking at maybe Livingston plays defensive midfield. He kind of drops back a bit at times.
Yeah,
that's it. I think that's it, really.
The others, like the Bernie and all them, they want it further up and to be breaking into the box, you see. And who else? We got Burt is a bit like that as well, but he's been kind of playing on the wing.
And Wardy plays higher up as well, obviously. Oh, look at this. Oh. Hit!
My word. Peter Cherry's always had that in him.
Yeah. I found as well, when I watched the game against Van Harps, the Abibi error, I thought it was an accident waiting to happen based on how they were playing, because they kept passing back to the keeper. I mean, it was countless times. And you keep passing back to the keeper and trying to play triangles around your box, all that needs to happen is you get caught once and it can end up in the net. You can do it 9 times now. That's the problem. I do like that football when it's done well, but if you're caught once, you can concede a goal. And that could happen with Cherry or anyone, to be honest with you.
Corner comes in and get cleared away by Stanton. Yeah, but what's your thoughts on that Bohs away jersey, Daz? Unbelievable, isn't it? Not too much in the home one, but the away one's class.
It's one of the better jerseys, and every season they're bringing out really quality jerseys. But you know, it's getting the club known worldwide. There's thousands of orders gone out for jerseys. There's, you know, the Fontaines, that band, a lot of people know them, and you know, it's great that they're supporting causes like Focus Ireland and actually donating profits. It's been absolutely excellent to see, and yeah, it's brilliant for the club. And I know they're getting politically involved a good bit, but it's for good causes, and it's great to see. And hopefully, more clubs get more involved with charities and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, what do you think of the Dundalk away jersey, though?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, no, I actually wrote an email. No, I wrote an email to, you know, CX Sports, who used to make the jerseys a couple of years ago, basically saying, make an away jersey that's orange and black. It would be absolutely fantastic. So when I seen it, I was like, you know, I got my wishes in the end. Not from CX Sports, so from Umbro. I really like it.
What do you think, Dad? Do you like it?
It's all right, yeah.
It's all right, yeah.
I know, anyway, it's nice. Yeah, look, it's different. Yeah, no, look, I do think it's nice. It's a bit different, you know, than a lot of teams go with plain jerseys these days. So it is interesting to see flashy jerseys, shall we say, going around the league.
Fairness is based on the railway thing and all that, so there's a bit of history there and a bit of context in the situation as well. But like, I remember, like, my Premiership team, Chelsea, and I remember they had this grey and orange jersey years ago from the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with Coors, was it?
Oh, Jesus. And I had it as a kid as well.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't great, no.
That's worse. That's arguably there was a Man United grey one lingering around that time as well, which wasn't the best. This one was, Jesus Christ.
Just the grey and the orange really didn't work. Like.
Grey and orange. And very orange. And very grey.
Yeah.
No. It can be tough. Like I don't like too much going on in jerseys. I'd be a bit of a plain Jane, if you get me.
Old school.
Depends on preference there as well. Some people like designs and stuff all over a jersey. I'm usually a bit more keep it nice and simple, like generally.
I like both. I like having one flashy and one simple.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm surprised Bucko stayed at Bohs so long. I know the Euro Brave Money, we all saw how that turned out for him. He's very underrated. Completely agree. I think if you ever watch Buckley live, to me, he's been one of the better midfielders in the league live to watch. He's an absolute leader and warrior on the field. He gives his all every game. He tells the players how it is. Vastly experienced. You know, he puts his heart and soul into every single game. I think he's massively underrated too. And people at Bohs love him. He's probably one of the most loved players at the club in a minute anyway.
I think he was underrated. I think people have finally got round to it now because Bohs have been for years. I think when you're in a struggling team, you see, sometimes you don't get the credit you deserve, to be honest. So Bohs was struggling for a couple of years when he was there. I think that's what happens, though. I think sometimes that the fans will see it, like the Bohemians fans will see it, but a lot of people outside don't notice it as much. It's funny when your team starts to do well, suddenly that player will eventually get all the plaudits and you'll come along and say, well, he's been doing that for 4 or 5 years, you know?
Absolutely, yeah, so true.
Jamie Condren's in. Oh, the cocky Pats fan. I know Jamie there. B-Tech Jamie Lennon, he calls him. There's a player who's improved an awful lot, but I'm not surprised because he's 22 now. And when he first broke, he was 18. And he feels like he's around a while, Jamie Lennon, but there's a bit of Chris Shields about him as well. So
he's very good.
I'd be worried if Shields did ever lose Dundalk that it might be knocking on the Inchicore door, so to speak, looking for him because he'd definitely be capable of playing for a team challenging for the title. There's no doubt about that. Trust me, lads. If anyone hasn't, hang on a second now, hasn't seen the '94 Rovers jersey away kit. The '94 one, the years now, I probably know it.
'94. I'll search it now.
Yeah, I wasn't even born.
You wouldn't remember if it was yesterday being a Bohs fan, though. We were talking about the Luminous one. I hate Luminous kits either, like, because I just don't like them. It's just I have to be able to see properly.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it here now. Yeah, that's nice. It's a bit mad now, but it's purple and green, sponsored by Whirlpool. Yeah, it's nice now.
Do you remember that Rovers top they had? It was purple and I think it was black. They had it back in 2012, 13. That was a nice kit.
Yes. The hoops, yeah, that was nice.
That was a nice one. It was a different one, like I know, yeah. But it was nice. It was a nice looking kit, like.
Would you take it for free?
Probably take it and burn it now, but yeah.
Wash your car with it.
Oh yeah.
Bit of a lull in the game, really, isn't there? Not much happened in the last few minutes.
Yeah. No, there is a little bit. A blinding start, even before the goal and after that, but I'd still be surprised if it's a 1-0. You never know, but here comes Bohs and the count Shields using all his experience. Bohs still getting away in the counter.
Ooh. Go on.
No, he's behind.
Shush.
Bohs seems to get an goal on that Dundalk's side, Dundalk's left-hand side. Oh, hello. Quite a bit, don't they? Steve's actually think first himself, didn't he?
Yeah, that's all we need.
Wouldn't want to lose him out of all the midfielders you have in the centre.
Yeah, and we haven't actually got many options in midfield at the moment because Zahibo still hasn't come in and Murray's out. McElhenney's just back from a knock.
You've a lot not available, such if you get me.
It's
players need to come in that look like they are coming in actually. they look good as well, don't they? In fairness, in terms of their resume, let's say.
Zahibo looks brilliant.
He looks like too good for the league.
Honestly, yeah. On paper, maybe the best signing that's kind of been made. Obviously, you've had the likes of Duff coming back and things like that, but you know, he was finished. This lad's 27, I think, Zahibo. So yeah, no, looks brilliant.
I have to get Keane Meth's comment up there.
Yeah. In fairness, I was shocked. I was shocked at the amount of people who didn't have Pats getting Europe this year.
That level. Sorry, what's that?
I was shocked at the amount of people who didn't have Pats getting Europe.
Because
I had them
here, and they usually flatter to deceive. To be honest with you, still a long way to go. I think there's more steel in them now, though. I think O'Donnell has really, you know O'Donnell well, obviously, and his characteristics have been brought into the side. I think there's been an ego-driven dressing room at Pats over the last few seasons, to be perfectly honest with you, and clearly he's doing a job there in terms of that. So that's all you can do, I think, for any team. Whatever happens after that happens, but they could get into Europe, but it's a long way to go. Yeah, I still think Bohs have a stronger actual, have more depth. For example.
Yeah, Bohs have a massive squad, really, by their standards.
They do.
We've two players in every position, which we haven't had for a while now. So
look at your fullbacks: Andy Lyons or Rory Feely, Tyreek Wilson or Breslin. That's pretty.
Tyreek Wilson's brilliant.
He's excellent. Yeah. He's actually playing today for the first time as well.
I
think, isn't it?
Even and the goalkeepers, you know, Talbot, McGuinness, that's a great backup to have there. And then going through the centre backs, you know, you've got Cornwall, you've got Finnerty, you've got Kelly. That's three good centre backs to have. Midfield's a bit hit and miss, and then going forward are very light, I think.
Yeah. And I think that in a 36-game season, you're going to need that. Even if you don't have many injuries, just in terms of fatigue and sometimes you need to take a fella out of the team for a week or two and bring someone else in. And you four fullbacks especially, I think that's a big one, to be honest with you. What's going on here? The top 5 strikers in order. What? Byrne, Twiggy, Gipp, Fagan, Hoover, Macmillan. It's very difficult, you see. I'd go further back, probably.
When you're going to talk about all time, you have to go back even further again. Like, you know, you'd be looking at.
Then people older than me will go back further as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this would be endless. You're looking like Glenn Crowe if you want to go back that far and be on him again. And
Jason Byrne I'd go back to as well. Jason Byrne
as well.
You have to remember too. So,
and both of them players played for Ireland as well, so from the league. So, you know.
Byrne, the likes of Byrne and Crowe, by the way, they were involved in some Irish squads when Ireland had stronger squad and stronger players.
That's true.
You know?
Yes, that's very true. And we had a lot of tackle players at the time, and you know, you had players in top teams for Ireland back then. They were still getting in, so it showed how good they were.
Yeah.
You can't let me down like this.
Huh?
The dog, they can't let me down like this. You know, if coming to watch along, they can't. They can't do that. They can't do this to me.
They have to at least score for you, but they've gone off the boil a little bit, actually, Dundalk in particular, haven't they, in the last 15 minutes? That's what they need to do, though. Is it worth bringing Macmillan on? I know Hooven scored last week, but I don't know. Macmillan could give you more down the channels, in my view, and stuff.
Possibly for McCogan, you could put Han out in the right and play 4-4-2 or a variation of it.
Yeah. Well, I just think when you put Macmillan as well, you need to use him a little bit more, in my view, because he gets the most teams in the league there, I feel.
You could go with like a diamond 4-1-2-1-2 and have Shields from the back four, and you could have Macmillan and Hoban up front, and you could have that. Is he Korean Chinese? What's his name again?
Han Jong-woo.
Couldn't think of his name. Yeah. Could have Han behind them. I'd like to see that for Dundalk.
It'll be
open. Cleary's after playing a lovely pass there, and I've seen some people kind of saying clearly should be in the Dundalk team or whatever, but he's very good on the ball. His pass.
He's brilliant. He messed up for that first goal, penalty or not, but he is very good.
In general, he's like
he's brilliant. Yeah.
Ball playing defender. And,
he's a top centre back. He's very, very good in the ball, and he can ping a ball, he can make a pass, and he can find a player out. He just did there now. He's a good player, and I think anyone that criticises that haven't watched him enough.
Yeah. Now sometimes it's a bit call out to be fair, doesn't he? Call him defensively, but the best athlete I do. Scales has a bit of that in them as well, but maybe not as expansive. 1-0 at half time, lads. Are you half time yet, Daz?
Yeah, just there now. I was waiting for a twist or something to happen now, and you're both going quiet. I was like, Yeah, look, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with it. It's 1-0 to Bohs. We got a penalty. If it wasn't. We scored it back at the net. We're playing way better than we have in the last game and in the first two games. We're stringing a lot more passes together. I think Wilson's having a good game. Kelly's feeding off scraps. The two players in the wings, they're pressing. They're making life difficult for Dundalk. But it's still open. Both teams are making opportunities. It can still go either way, but we're very fortunate to have had that penalty. He put it away. We got the goal. We're 1-0 up. Happy out.
Would you think that Dundalk, and I highlighted it a bit before the game, the way they play off the ball, have they kind of let Bohemians play a little bit as well, though, compared to maybe the other team, like Hearts, like Pats, like who else was it who played? Can't remember now.
Hearts, Pats, Rovers.
Longford. Wasn't it?
Yeah, Longford, yeah. But we were 2-0 up against Longford and it was 2 away, like when Huey came on and all. So look, they're playing so much better. They're playing completely different than they did the first few games. There hasn't been as many long balls. Talbot is utilising the defenders. He's bowling out when he can. The fullbacks are making the pitch as wide as they can. They're pushing way out or they're coming close to the box to look for a pass out. When the centre-backs or fullbacks are on the ball, the players higher up are getting wider again, so there's a lot more space made. They're pinging it around, they're making passes. They're playing way different than they did the last few games. And I think this is how they should be playing. You know, going direct long balls all the time to Kelly, it wasn't working the first few games. So look, it's brilliant to see, and I'm delighted with how we're doing. But let's make no mistake about it. Dundalk are a brilliant team, brilliant players. They could change a few things up, like I said there. They could bring Macmillan on beside Holman. It could be a completely different game second half. By no way means is it one. No way means.
What do you think, Colin, so far? Is it more the same from Dundalk, do you think, like the last year?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously started quite well, I think. Not to say Bohs were poor exactly, but we are finding a fair bit of space, getting some balls in, getting half chances, if not chances. But it really fizzled out there, and it was kind of more of the same that we've seen in the first couple of games. Passing was poor, not really finding any space in attacking areas. It's disappointing, but hopefully regroup at half time. And obviously we've got a decent bench. We can make some changes.
They haven't really got Duffy into the game yet, have they? Even though
no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, when you've got the best player in the league, in my view, I think you need to get the ball to him an awful lot more.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I'd also like to see Han get on it a bit more as well. Haven't seen too much of him.
He's not getting the ball. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Obviously, the next goal is going to be absolutely crucial. So it is. But,
I think though, too, lads, neither keeper has been really worked too much. I know Talbot had to make a few saves, but they haven't really had any major saves to make that they wouldn't have in any other game. So I think both teams probably need to try and get forward more and have more shots and test both keepers out.
That's true. They've had there's been a few opportunities, particularly with Dundalk, where they haven't actually tested Talbot. But they've been in good areas. Obviously, hitting the bar is just, you hit the bar, it's unlucky. But there's been a few opportunities there where they've got in, they've put the shot wide. Who was that actually, after they hit the bar fairly quickly, where he got in on the right and he kind of cut it across? I wasn't sure. He should have been shooting.
Yeah, it was Yarkovskis. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Maybe he was shooting. It's difficult to say, but there's a rashness with Dundalk's finishing, I think. And maybe they had that in the last week of Rovers a little bit too, actually. A bit more.
It probably comes off confidence.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so they're snapped and things like that, and they're panicky a little bit, but you know, Bohs will obviously be happier with that lead at half time, and like they seem to be slightly on top of midfield. Well, when I say that, they're outnumbering Dundalk in midfield, that's the point. But at the same time, you know, Dundalk have got through as well, so it's that's a good game. It's a good game for the neutral, I have to say as well, generally, because there is kind of they've been left back and Sonny looks good. Sonny isn't playing.
Well, yeah, look, as we said at the start, it was going to be a game that both teams are going to be really up for. Both of us didn't have a win, you know, it was a must-win game for both of us, and they're going to have to they're going to have to go for it, both teams are. They're just going to have to just go for it, like, and it has been, you know, it's been delivered. It's been a very good game, I think, so far. It's both teams are delivering, they're both trying, they're both getting a few shots. It hasn't all been in the air. Both teams have been passing it around. It's been a good game, I think, so far. Yeah.
Keith, did you see Dundalk won 250 quid to sponsor player face mask? Is that true?
I don't know how much it is, but you can sponsor a face mask, which is really weird. But yeah, I'm not sure how much it is. Presumably he's right.
Maybe Shiva should sponsor a face mask now for our different groups.
Yeah.
That's it. Why not myself? You never know what you know. It's not sponsored, like, you know. Shane Kerr, you can tell Dundalk's team are see, that's it too though. Like, I've said that a lot of times. It is obvious, like, you know, but you know, both teams are capable of winning and going on a run of 4 or 5 matches and winning them, to be honest, or an unbeaten run and such. So
yeah, look, this hopefully could be, you know, if we get a win, this could be the start for Bohs now to push on and get points on the board and get a few wins under their belt.
Who have they got next, you know? Bohemians.
Oh God, Waterford, and then we've got Shamrock Rovers.
Waterford have a good record at Daleyman Park, weirdly enough.
They do, and Waterford have, you know, they've brought in players, you know, from abroad a lot. They brought in a lad from France there during the week. You know, all these players.
Because he hasn't had a club since September. He hasn't had a club.
No, the thing is, these players, they could be very weak or very good or in the middle. No one knows. They're very unknown players. You know, like, every team's there's no bad team in the league. Let's be real about it. There's not. Every week it's going to be a battle for points, and it's going to be a real scrap to get a win or a draw against anyone. But, you look, we have to take every game as we get. It's no cliche. It just has to be done. And I hope to see out the game against Dundalk and get this win, because we need to get a win on the board. And, you know, Waterford, Shamrock Rovers, it gets, you know, that's going to be tough. Like, they're tough games coming up. And if we were to throw away these points now today, you look at 2 tough games after this again, for us anyway.
Well, the Bohs usually takes a life of itself anyway, doesn't it? Like, you know, you just don't know. You must be looking, Conall, I don't know, like, it's been a while really since Dundalk have had a proper derby, actually, against Drogheda. And it's just like, that's, like, people underestimate that derby, I think. That's a big derby, Conall and Dundalk. It's just because Drogheda have been in First Division mainly, and Dundalk have been way ahead recently, let's be honest about it. But for fans, that is a big derby, and that can be as fiery as any derby in the country.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, because I would have barely experienced any times when it has been a big derby, because by the time I got to an age where I started going to Dundalk games by myself and that, because my dad doesn't like football or anything like that, it was around the Stephen Kenny era. It makes me feel like a glory hunter, really. And obviously, Drogheda, just the way it worked out. Yeah, and so, yeah, it's never really been a time where Drogheda have been much use. In 2012, they finished second, but they weren't a great team. I'm not really sure how they finished second. That was the year, obviously, Dundalk were awful and finished bottom of the table, stayed up. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Useless as such.
yeah, exactly.
But no, it actually is a massive derby. It's just we haven't really witnessed it, and it's one of the things I would really look forward to this year. If I could go to a game this year with fans, I know what Bohs and Rovers is like recently, but I'd love to go to Dundalk and Drogheda, because there'd be a bit of newness to it a little bit as well, and fans would go apeshit as well, to be honest with you. And I'd like to see that rivalry renewed, so to speak, because you have a lot of Dublin derbies and that, and they're great and all, but there's so many of them at times. Itself, like, but Dundalk and Drogheda has always been a big derby as well. I don't care what man says. There's no rivalry there. Our two biggest rivals are Pats and Bohs. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a unique one, really, the Louth Derby, because it's the smallest county in Ireland, but it makes up 10% of the League of Ireland clubs. So it's quite weird to have two clubs in such a small county. So it is definitely unique in that sense. And Drogheda have a great thing going at the moment. They're being run really well. They have a really nice team. Some fantastic players. Dane Massey. I like your man James Brown at right back. He looked fantastic. Some great additions. Gary Deegan. Yeah, so if you're a Drogheda United fan, you're loving life at the minute. Your club's being run really well. You've got a nice little team, and even though Dundalk are better, they're certainly not doing better at the moment.
Yeah. No, but they're kind of budgeting within their means of Drogheda and have done for the past few years. Yeah. And they've built a young team in general there, and they've kept all those players. Your Mark Doyles, James Browns, Conor Keynes. Tim Clancy is now there for a few years as well, the young manager. And obviously they got promoted eventually. They didn't panic and say we didn't go up the year before, because they were unlucky the last couple of years. Eventually got there, they usually do when that happens. And added experience this year. I think they'll be fine, actually. I don't think they're going to go down. You never know, but I don't think they will.
And funnily enough, they've got a very good goalkeeper from Dundalk, David Odamusu. Maybe he could be doing with him at the moment.
That Drogheda and Finn Harps, and I turned around and said to somebody, Dundalk would love to have him now.
Yeah, they let him go.
He's only 19. He doesn't shut up. It's great.
I'm just looking here at the highlights. He made a bit of a howler there, got away with it. But yeah.
Top 5 biggest derbies in the League of Ireland. You'd have to say, I suppose, you still have to say
Bohs and Rovers number 1. Not even close.
I think it's hard, though. I think after that, there's not much. Pats and Shells is up there, but similarly to the Drogheda Dundalk thing, we haven't seen enough of them, to be honest, in last year's Shells in the first division most of the time. Louth Derby. Cork and Waterford is a little overrated, I'm gonna say, to be honest. I think it's a little. I don't think it comes near those other ones.
Dundalk Rovers is a derby in its own right, like historically 2 massive clubs, and obviously at the moment maybe it's a bit biased looking at it, but historically 2 huge clubs. Derry really seem to like each other. Derry Hearts, that's true. Yeah,
that'd be above Waterford, Cork. Cork is a really friendly style derby, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's not in there. Thinking about Hearts stadiums getting redeveloped. Fantastic, isn't it? The only stadiums get redeveloped, to be honest. Or we have better. That's the biggest issue in the League of Ireland. That's how you move forward. That's how you get fans in. Look, it's great, isn't it, Daz? You're a Bohs fan yourself. Like, what do you think? You obviously know, you'd welcome it, wouldn't you? I'd like the capacity to be higher, though, Daz, I'll say.
Yeah, look, they're redeveloping the stadium. It's going to be 6,000, right? We've been having, at the Derby games, between 3.5 at the highest, I think it was. Yeah. Some games, now when I was there, when we could go, they were completely oversold. The Jody stand was 85% before even general tickets went on sale. If you're sitting in the very, very up end of the where the ultras are, that stairs is full of fans. Where we're not supposed to be standing there, but people are. So there's nowhere else to go. So it's going to be brilliant for the league in general and for Dublin, the North Dublin, to have that stadium there, a FIFA Grade 3 stadium coming. That's going to be brilliant, but 6,000 fans, they could have done better. But then again, you have to look at it this way: if we're both going to have 3,000 fans every week, are you going to be wanting to play in a stadium that holds 10,000, and you're only filling them with 3 every week? To be no atmosphere, really, it'll look a bit bad. If you look at a few lower league clubs in England, there's a few that play in 10,000 seater stadiums in non-league. They're renting the stadiums. It just looks bad, but. If it's 6,000, then we can grow the fan base and Shells grow theirs, and there's room to improve the stadium for the future. I think that's the way forward, and see how it goes so far.
There has to be room for extra in the future, I think. The Finn Harps was great as well, because it's a country team as well, and they badly. I'd love every club to have a new stadium. Oriel Park.
The only thing that
Richmond Park, which is in decent nick, but you want to modernise and build up, and if you can do that, that's how you get people to come into grounds. Because one kind of disappointing thing I have at some of the grounds. Look at Talca Park, for example. Like, it's completely run down, like, but some of the things can be sorted. I mean, the grass coming in from that, and Dalymount's the same on the far side. And that kind of stuff can be a clean-up job. They're clean-up jobs. Fans would do that for a living, like.
Yeah, they'd be too delighted to.
You know, even looking at Oriel Park, this might sound like a dig at you now, Conall, but the way-in is shocking. Now, Bohs is no better. You know, Bohs is no better. Let's be real about it. But it's not hard to do a bit of painting, put a roof up, you know, put a bit of money in. The Dundalk are rich. They have the funds to do it. It's not hard to do, like, you know, because it's terrible as an away fan going there in the wind and the cold. You just... You know, it's shocking, you know, the money Dundalk have, and I know they can't really put money into the stadium, but it's not hard to upgrade the away stand to make it somewhat okay to be in. That goes for every club, especially Bohs too, like, it's just not hard to do, and it would make the league more appealing for everyone, I think.
But so many of them is just a job, for God's sake, watch the windows there. Get, you know, sort out the grass, like, you know, clean up the seats. Exactly. Things like that can help as well. Like, they're on a stage, but it's almost like Talca Park have done that. The guys have done that on purpose to say, look at the state of our ground, to make it as horrible looking as they possibly can. So
cry for help, yeah.
I think there's an element of that comes into it as well. You know what I mean, with some of the stadiums and that. But
there is, because like if it looks kind of well kept or okay, people might brush it aside and like, oh, but so and so's club is a lot worse and they need more than you, kind of thing, and that might put them back down the pecking order in terms of grant money for funding or, you know, money for getting a new stadium or a redevelopment of a stadium. So I can completely see where you're coming from saying that, and why clubs might just not really tie the ground up to that kind of level.
Yeah, I mean, if you went away from the League of Ireland for 20 years and back, everything would look the same, except worse, because they look more run down, if you get me, after time. But like United Park, Jake Davis there is dropping the fan. He's right, like it's in a state, and they know that as well, like new owners. But there's like, it's not their fault either. But you can go very deep into this, and you can, you know, have a go at the FAI, etc., for neglecting a lot as well. And that's a lot to do with it too. But we just can't continue to go on run down stadiums, getting run down more as time goes on. It just can't happen.
I tell you one thing, lads, Athlone Town Stadium is lovely. It's a pleasure. It's a pity that the team, I know they're good this season, but it's a pity with the way their team was being ran and the club was being ran, and that the fans and members, you know, they hated how the club was being ran and they got no fans at one stage. You know, it was
yeah.
By the way,
I was interested to see McElhenney introduced in place of Han. I would have taken Mitskogan off though instead of Han, but you know, what do I know?
But yeah, look, like I was saying, look, Athlone have a great little stadium, and hopefully they come up this season. I'd like to see them come up because they deserve to be up with, you know, the facilities they have and the people they have there and all. Oh,
what happened there?
My
stadiums that you going to get fans, and depending on the location and how far people have to travel. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like if you have a nice little stadium, look, it made a big difference for Shamrock Rovers. Let's be honest, Shamrock Rovers were struggling for years because they didn't have a proper stadium, and we're the fourth best Dublin team actually for many years, by the way, during the 90s and 2000s and that. But you know, Tala has really improved the way they've been able to do things. And it's much more family orientated now, isn't it? And that's the point. The likes of Dalymount Talca were great little grounds in the 90s, you know, for example. But then if the all mentions as well, so you know what I mean. There's a lot. That could be a good thing as well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're looking into it now, and they look like they're taking loose its idea. As such.
Nah, I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen.
That's what they're looking
at. Really?
Get me. Take his idea and move.
Why not?
It themselves, like, you know.
I'll tell you what I don't want it to happen, right? Say, you know, like the top 3 here get Europe, right? And I think it's top 2 or 3 up there get Europe. You're looking at what? Less teams again getting a European spot. And for talking's sake, I don't know, if the 2 teams from Northern Ireland and 1 from here gets Europe, There's so many more teams that's going to miss out. And I don't think teams here are going to want to accept that, to realise, say, Bohs talk and say, we mightn't be good enough if there's teams from the north, the best teams up there put into this league, to keep finishing up in Europe, actually get European spots. We're not going to want that. We're not going to want these teams in the league if we're not going to finish up in the higher end of the league to try and get Europe.
I think we have to bite the bullet with things like that and just say, look, tough shit, to be honest with you.
It's supposedly, though, clubs, like the prize money will be such that won't matter too much. Because I think Kieran Lewis was asked about that.
But that would have to be fully confirmed that we will actually be making more money, the same money that we would be making if we had Europe, say, in this league. Yeah. If that's the case, then yes, that probably would be a good way to go. But if that's not the case, if there's no clarification about, no, I don't want to get anywhere, then if it's going to be like that.
I think it's very basic, but I think at this stage as well, I think the island is just too small to have two professional leagues as such. It's just too small.
Yeah.
I've seen people complain, and this is a weird complaint for me personally. Like people saying, but we'd have to travel to the likes of Belfast and this and that and the other. Jesus, this is a small country, lads. Get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at England, which isn't massive. It's big. I mean, you're going from Newcastle to London or whatever. Those kind of little complaints are bizarre from my point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, if you're from Cork and you have to come up to Dundalk, you may as well go to Belfast. It's not too far out your way, you know. Could you imagine an All-Ireland League not happening because of a situation like that?
I think, though, for that kind of an argument, they'd probably have to put the league back to a Sunday like it was years and years ago, or on a Saturday, because it does give you the time then actually get up and get back the same night if you want to, because not everybody...
for long trips.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know Sligo do their games on Saturdays, which is brilliant, because I can actually go to every Sligo game then when we play them. But if we're playing Sligo away on a Friday night, there's been lots of times where I just simply couldn't go, because it's on a Friday night in Sligo. A lot of people were like that too.
But it's funny when people say, let's get more teams in the league. Well, that's one way of doing it, having an All-Ireland League. Do you know what I mean? From both perspectives, if you get me. It'd be great to have an 18-team league or 16-team league and a second one that's strong and possibly a third, from my point of view.
Yeah.
And, people say someone like anyone like Pats or whoever could say, well, we've less of a chance to get into Europe. Well, tough shit then. Up your standards. Ooh. It's up to... I think that's why... clubs. I've seen some weaker clubs complain about this. But sure, you can't... No, everyone can't win. You know what I mean? Everyone can't compete at the top.
Also, in terms of not getting Europe and that, okay, you might lose money that way, but so it might bring down the ceiling, but it should increase the floor. It should be more sustainable.
People would get used to it if you get me as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I think after a while people will say, look, and it does. I mean, raise your standards then if that's the case or whatever. And the political stuff will have to disappear as well, because personally I'm sick of that. I don't care about politics.
Yeah.
Football's football. And the way people say, there'll be massive trouble between Linfield and, say, Shamrock Rovers, but go to Serbia and Russia. You know what I mean? And see the football there and that kind of thing. You could have...
Dundalk and Linfield played and it went without incident.
What's that?
Dundalk and Linfield played twice and it went without incident.
There was only this.
It's way overplayed.
That's all it was. Yeah. Only that stuff. There's no actual trouble. And I honestly believe there'd be... And by the way, the longer it goes on, the less trouble there would be as well, because people are used to it. There can only be manufactured trouble. And another thing as well, you probably have more police in some of those games initially. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, you will. Initially, of course you will. At the very, very start, you will. And over time, when you realise that, that there won't be much trouble or any trouble, it'll be like a normal game then again, hopefully.
And a lot of clubs in the north are pretty apolitical,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I know people that go to a lot of the games up north, and they don't see any issues there. And there are so-called Protestant and Catholic clubs in that league as it is. So
I went to 2 games in the north, and it was Institute, and who was the other one? I can't remember. Anyway, a few years ago, and it was that instant. There was actually less stewards and police at them games that I was at than there is here. So No, there was no incidents. Like, and the standard was okay. But yeah, good.
You know,
Like,
some of the little incidents you might see sometimes at a Bohs Shamrock Rovers game, which you can get from time to time. If that was a Linfield and Shamrock Rovers game, they'd blow it up to the hilt. If it was exactly.
absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think then again,
media would do that anyway. So
yeah.
it won't put me off going to the game. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I think then again we need to remember that anyone that goes to like the Bohs and Rovers games and starts trouble, they're not fans, they're hooligans. They're not there for the football, they're there to start stuff.
It's also
that's the difference from them.
after the game, not during the game. I rarely see any trouble during the games.
Yeah.
Anyway,
From what I heard.
and I've done vlogs in ultra sections, and very rare you see people do stupid things like throwing a flare in the pitch or something. But I rarely see actual violence, so to speak, at a game.
I know you're really.
But I think that's a valid argument either to not have it. Like, you'd like to see all the details. But I think it's definitely something we need to explore.
Yeah, I'd be well up for it.
Oh, absolutely! Like, I think,
and it looks like there might be some movement with it.
I think there's a
bit of came out there.
Away. There's something like it's not going away fully. One thing I will say with the Irish clubs, I call them the Irish League clubs because they're the Irish League as such. Their stadiums are generally in better condition because they got government funding from the UK. I'm not sure what will work, but obviously, that's a big thing for them. Like, and they have become a bit more professional. There's a lot more money up there now as well in the league. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know as well, but I don't know. I'd love to be going up to do Linfield and Shamrock Rovers or Linfield and Bohs or whoever it is at Dundalk.
It'd be completely different, but I think then again for me, look, it comes down to money. It has to be worth it to do it. If we're going to be down money or in the same money, it's not really worth doing it. They'll have to up the money, up the standards, up funding, and actually make it worth everyone's while to do it. I think it'd be very big.
We don't have a TV deal at the moment here.
I also think the two leagues merging, it would make it instantly more interesting.
I think
and more fans coming to games, so it could improve it just by that.
I think so as well. It would definitely get a lot of media interest in general, and I do think the standards would improve overall as well because obviously you merge the two, you're getting the best from the two in the top flight, so suddenly the standards completely up as well. You can get more teams in, so you might have 16 team league or whatever. And they've been trying to, especially early doors, prove points. There'll be a lot of point proving, I think, or want them to prove points. Anyway.
Everyone will want to beat Linfield. Every game against Linfield for League of Ireland clubs is going to be massive.
They'll want to beat Shamrock Rovers and the Bohs.
Yeah.
Kind of more so than their normal derbies up in the north initially. I don't know. I think I can see your point, Daz. No, you're right though. But my point is, if it's proven, as you say, and the money it can be done that way and all, then we'd be mad not to go for this situation. I think
it has to be proven though. It has to be actually written down and shown that this is what's going to be. First place gets $500,000 for finishing first. It has to be that kind of level.
TV deal. Clubs get
Stanton again. I'm sorry, I've made my mind up on him very early, but again, another loose pass there when there was a chance to get him.
He's been poor for you. He's been given as that. I think that's the fourth time now he's actually put a ball out of play. That's bad.
Yeah. Need to bring on Chino Perez in number 10. Drop McElhenney back.
Oh, my head again.
Oh, a save!
Is that Stanton?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. This is nothing, but he should be scoring there. Has to score. There. Good save, but he must score there.
Great save by Talbot it was.
No, it was a good save, but I don't know. I'm going to strike with Union. You have to be burying that, I think. He's given them
you do. When it's 7 yards out. Yeah, like when you're 7 yards out in front of goal and you're a striker, you have to put it away. You have to be.
I'd love to see it again, but I'm not sure he should be heading that. I need to see it again, but can he control that and hit it? Because he can't generate that power.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
I don't know. Again, you need to see it again, but I'm there for a friend of mine. Sky Sports may be interested in all the Ireland. But if Sky Sports were covering if there was an All Ireland League, I mean, enough said, really, here's Stanton again. Oh, he's giving it away.
I think though, just on the All Ireland League, when Bohs were playing in the Iron Brew Cup, I used to love when we had a team that I never heard of, looking it up, looking the players up, looking at YouTube clips, seeing what the club's about. They're a completely new team, and they caught me. I wanted to know about this team, and I wanted to go there and see what it's about. And you'd have that with the Northern Irish League, because I don't really know many players up there, and you're going, it'd be interesting, it'd be new teams.
Yep.
I do know some of the players, but I'm not going to lie. I know obviously League of Ireland players and clubs are a lot better than I know Irish League clubs, but that'd be fun as well. That's part of it as well. That's that's part of it as well. And by the way, it'd be great for content creators like myself, to be honest, because suddenly now you're getting a market from the north as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're doing preview shows on Glentoran versus whoever. Well. So I'd just be excited about it. I just think this island's far too small. Both leagues need each other in many ways. They just have to cut out the political crap. And as you say, you do need to make sure there's enough. But everything they wouldn't go ahead with anything if it wasn't clear, if there wasn't a clear plan of financial gain. I really don't think
exactly.
So.
Yeah.
I think there would have to be a plan put in place, so that there's as little sort of merging between the two football federations, because I feel like that would be a major stumbling block. You'd have, half the Blazers would be turned in, and even more working class people working in the federations. Half the people could lose their jobs. So I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. Not a complete merging between the federations,
Yeah, maybe that could be done, but initially, yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And that's not something that will be easily done. They'd have to think about what are they doing. Would the Northern Irish FA have to look after football education and grassroots for the North, and the FAI do it for the South? Or what's the league then? They'd have an independent body for the league. They'd have to look at something like that, I think, if they're going to manage it that way.
But I'm sure they are. Do you get me? I'm sure they're looked into all that. But
yeah.
There's just so much. It keeps coming back, so everything's clearly been really looked at. Do you get me? Jake Davis, the format is quite weird. The top 6 from the NIFL and top 8. Yeah, I agree with that. There's one or two bits and pieces that are weird about it, though. How do you structure the teams? Who gets into the Premier and the First Division or whatever? There's a lot of could be issues there, but could be an issue as well. But there's a lot of things to be ironed out, obviously. But
I think just going back to the game here, I think Kelly's actually doing pretty good up front on his own. He's held it up well. He's found a pass when he's held players off the ball as well when he got there. I think he's doing a lot better this game than he would as well last week. I think he's had a good game so far.
No, I'll be honest, in general play. Definitely. It's the best I've seen him play for a while, to be fair. A lot of corners for them.
Yeah, a lot of pressure without many great chances.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly true. There's a lot of balls coming in and no one at the end of them.
Dundalk have created a serious amount of opportunities without creating the opportunities. If you get me, it's
won't show up on the stats.
No, that's the name of stat. I don't like stats at all. I've seen teams win matches 4-0 with 24% possession, and we had more possession always annoys me, because sometimes the plan isn't to have possession anyway.
Yeah.
And the stat I really hate that's come on in the last few years. I'm sorry, but I really hate this XG. Really,
I knew you were going to say it.
It really does, because how do you even calculate XG? And it's irrelevant anyway. XG, it's we should have scored 3 goals. We got 1.
And I'd be a fairly big proponent of it.
What's that?
I'd be a fairly big fan of it.
Would you be
triple substitution for Dundalk? Yeah, because in isolated matches, I know what you're saying. It's a match could end 4-0 and the XG could, completely say the exact opposite. But over the course of a season, it's a fairly good barometer of how good a team are at creating chances or how bad they are. So, you have to look at it in longer spells,
I agree with that. I think my issue is fans that moan that say they didn't win the match because of the XG.
Yeah.
That's my big...
People can fixate over it. Like, it's a good metric, a useful one, but that's all it is, sort of, yeah.
Completely. Over the course of the season, it gives you an idea of how good the team is at creating opportunities, or good opportunities, as you'd say. But I'm starting to see this come in with fans and say, geez, we had 4 whatever point XG today, and, I wonder what Bohs and Dundalk's XG is today. So,
well, Stanton's, that should be about 1. That chance, that should be a guaranteed goal. Triple substitution though: David McMillan Jr. and Darrell Leahy. So basically, positive changes. I think ones that are probably necessary. 2 up top.
Darrell Leahy and McMillan. Serious quality bench there.
They're brilliant players to have on their bench. Like, they'd be 2 of the better players in the league as well. Any club would be delighted to have them, and they probably start at a lot of clubs as well. So to have them on the bench just shows the quality Dundalk have and have had for the last few years.
That's why it's probably frustrating for Dundalk fans in the last year or so, roughly, because you see these kind of quality players, and it's just not clicking. I'd say, Conall, is that probably the thing that's annoying the most, rather than having a bad team, so to speak?
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of chopping and changing, a lot of players coming in and out, and there's just no stability around the team at the moment. I understand sometimes you need to change it because the performances haven't really been good, but give players a chance. Like a BB getting dropped, like maybe he isn't good enough. He probably isn't, but
he's not.
You signed him,
and they've I'd say like a mistake or two, the odd mistake, and there can be goalkeeping mistakes in this league. And he made a mistake against Lada and that's a goal. So I don't understand really. Like, you can't after 3 or 4 games, as you say, bring in a keeper and say he's our number 1, and then after 3 or 4 games, he's dropped. I mean,
now it could be just a short rest. He could be back next week. You don't know. But,
yeah, especially if Cherry makes an error. But yeah, the big kickoff League of Ireland show there. That's probably Roy. How are you, Roy? Like Keaton, lads, can't see in the league happening if the money will be lost out in European football. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we were saying, that a lot of Northern fans did. Yeah. No, we were saying that, but we'd like to think, I suppose, Daz, that if it was to happen, basically, that will be covered, because it has to be. I think that's the point. The political, I don't know if you're referring to the political stuff there, but I just have no interest in political stuff these days, guys, at all.
Just going back to that point, that's exactly what we said. It's about the money has to be shown that it'll be there and it'll be work clubs' time, and it'll benefit clubs maybe that might have never even be finishing in Europe to actually be in the league. Overall, it's making the league stronger and better, more finances, more money for players, more professionalism throughout the league. Then it's worth a while, but it's going to be the case of clubs having the same money as it is now. It's really not really worth it, because clubs maybe, I know you're saying, Keith, like up your standards, but not everybody can do that. As in Bohs, we can't really up it any more than we are. That's why I'd be against it unless the money is going to be there.
I mean, some of the northern clubs in particular who had a moan early doors about this, and these clubs are struggling anyway, so I don't get their problem. You know what I mean? See, some of them are treading water in the top flight but doing nothing. There's a gap in Northern Ireland that we don't have in the League of Ireland between the top teams and bottom teams. Actually, a massive gap. And water, so they want to say they're in a top division. But like, what's the point if they're treading water every year, like, as well, like, just get that ignorance. Just really, again, hold up the ball very well, to be fair.
Georgie Kelly's doing really good. He's doing really good. He's definitely doing the job that I wanted him to do when he signed. Like, be that target man, be that awkward centre forward to deal with, hold the ball up, find a man, hold play up. He's doing that role really well today.
Bohs are coming back in. When I say coming back into it, they're having a spell in the second half now, aren't they?
Yeah, we've become a lot more alive. We're going forward a lot more, and we're creating more chances. But look, the Dock, they're still very much in it. They've had a lot of corners, just no one at the end of it. It just takes one header and into the net, and it's a draw straight away again.
It's just surprised only 1-0. Oh, jeez, how did that not go in? What happened there?
We're about to find out.
Oh,
my word! How's that not went in? Yeah, you're right.
Oh, how did that not go in?
Or is he giving a free kick? He's giving a free kick, has he? Or did he? I'm not too sure.
See, that's the thing. Like, there's no replays. That's what's very frustrating as a fan. Watching it, or you're on a show like this and you're trying to analyze the game, and you can't look back at it. Like, it can be very frustrating to look at it.
It's not a difficult thing to do.
It's definitely not. No.
Like, it isn't. Like, for the Dundalk Bohs stream in pre-season, we had them.
Remember the
and they weren't
in pre-season, exactly.
Yeah, they weren't perfect, but there was replays. Yeah.
The Dundalk pre-season game, right, would have had Stephanie Roach and everyone on. That was one of the best streams I ever watched. It was absolutely brilliant. It was quality. It was spot on. They couldn't have made it any better, and it was free. So it just shows it can be done.
It's just laziness.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Streams last season with UPD and they had replays. I mean, for the first couple of games, we didn't even have you couldn't see a score in the caption at a time. In some of the games there.
Should give equal money to teams just a fair share. I don't actually agree with that, Brian. I think if you finish first, you should get most of the money. You deserve to be. You've tried your best. And I think if you finish last, I don't think you deserve what someone in first would get if you finish last. But I do see your point that you want equality throughout the league. Maybe you're looking towards funding then for teams, infrastructure, youth setups, more so than the prize money for leagues to be split.
And you'd like to think, actually, you'd like to think if both leagues combine as such that we'd have better marketing as well. The marketing is rubbish up here.
Yeah.
Or up here, down here. I'm not sure. Either, to be honest.
My stream went back up again. Mine's back up.
Oh my god!
Oh, has yours stopped altogether?
Yeah.
Was it?
Mine's back up.
Okay. What minute are you on, Dad?
71
seconds. Am I?
Oh!
I'm 71-21.
I'm 28. Mine's cool.
I'm 71-23 now, so it's back. Everybody calm down, it's back.
We were just ahead of it. That's what we got for. We'll make you black. We're gonna blacken your screen.
That's another thing I watched League of Ireland. Like, if this was free, you'd probably forgive stuff like replays not being in it and it cutting in and out. But when you're paying for it, there should be standards set. It should never freeze. Scores and times shouldn't be disappearing, and replays should be there when you're paying for it. Like.
And by the way, I've heard that the LOI, the first division version, is even worse.
Oh yeah, sure. It's an automated camera, isn't it?
Yeah,
it follows the ball.
Yes.
Clubs have actually done their own screens because it's fallen, it's gone asunder and everything, and that's just
they're looking for volunteer commentators.
They shouldn't have bothered with the League of Ireland one, to be honest. It's not been funny, and let clubs do it themselves because they were doing a good job in the first division.
They definitely should have let them do it themselves and let them charge what they want for it. Like, who's been the better of the two? Bohs.
Goals likely because they're league basically. No, they just look a bit more composed than Dundalk, I think, do they?
Yeah, they're letting Dundalk have the ball, but Dundalk are doing very little with it. So, yeah, you couldn't say that Dundalk have been the better team here. Against Rovers last week, we were very hard done by not to get a point, I felt. But today, you can't have too much complaints unless it picks up in the last 20 minutes.
They have had opportunities, but again, it's not as if they've had no opportunities. I mean, the Stanton won the one that was hard. The Yurkovskis won the first half. There's been a few where just the final ball and stuff as well. In terms of opportunities, they probably had as many as Bohs. But just Bohs look like a better unit or something around, I think.
Yeah, Dundalk haven't been terrible, but I mean, ultimately, Dundalk obviously Bohs are one of the best teams in the league, but Dundalk should be beating Bohs at home. We should be going and looking to dominate the game, but we haven't. And that's a disappointing thing.
I think there was something like you said earlier, like especially with all the corners and stuff, like there's just no one at the end of them. Like the balls are coming in, but there's no one there. Or you go up the field and there's no one within 10 yards of a player in an attacking position, and that's been a bit of a problem for Dundalk. Or they're going direct lately, and it's not working out for them.
Bohs could get a win here, though, give them a huge confidence boost. Considering though any team get a win here, give them a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, but look, Dundalk can still come back and win this. The game's not over till the referee blows that final whistle. And that's a cliche, but it's so true. There's been so many times. Look, 2 years ago against Shelbourne in the Cup, we came back with goals in, I think, 2 goals in 3 minutes and one in the 88th minute or something in the Cup. Like, I thought we were down and out in the Cup that year, but came back and won.
I've seen them down and out, and they'd get back into the game, make a point, and make a goal even. But are they lacking a steal though that they had? That's the question as well. They've 2 up front now, though, don't they? They do,
yeah. Yeah. They haven't really done much since those substitutions, really.
Yeah. The balance is it's just hard to tell what their balance is exactly at this minute in time, but.
I'd have some sympathy in a way because clearly Dundalk want to go with 3 centre-backs and we haven't got 3 fit centre-backs.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, at least one other centre-back should have been signed, if not 2.
They left themselves a bit short, but
yeah.
I know they're leaving it late now and we don't know who's available, but it's a difficult one. Yeah, it is. I mean, they're kind of playing the style of a 3 centre-back system with 2 centre-backs. That's the issue. As I said before, the wing-backs really do push on. They are wing-backs. Most of those players are wing-backs rather than full-backs. Dummigan in particular and Jurkowskis looks like to me as well.
Even Leakey, he's got attacking in him. Like, he's good at getting crosses and he's good at getting up the field. And I seen him myself with Bohs when he was with us. He was a focal point of us going forward in that wing. He was very good. Like, so it can be done. But I think that too with Dundalk, I'm not too sure on the transfers. Like, yes, but the transfer window is still open, so you could still sign someone.
Then some Dundalk people would argue that they've signed enough. They need to gel. There's that side of it as well.
Yeah. It's just a situation that the club found themselves in. A lot of players ended up leaving, some not entirely. Oh, is there a chance there? Humble. No.
Get rid of it.
Some not entirely their fault. Others that definitely could have made arrangements to keep. The likes of Sean Hoare, Sean Gannon.
Like they were.
But again, at the same time, teams have cycles, and I think it came to a natural end. You're not going to dominate for ages. So in some ways, we might need to accept that we're not going to be great for a couple of years. It's natural in some ways.
There is not winning the league. It's having a big drop off, let's say, and finishing 6 or 7. Something ridiculous. That does sound ridiculous, to be fair, but. That's what some Dundalk fans are concerned about. They miss out in Europe, let's say. That you go from winning to missing out in Europe, let's say. That's what they're concerned about, I think.
But in fairness, I don't see that happening because if it's at that stage midway through the season, this managing team's gone. Gone. We'll get in probably a fairly good manager who'll give us a bounce and we will finish in the top 4 because I don't see how you can't because... Yeah, we will have that new manager bounce if it gets to that stage, No,
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
Ryan O'Kane's after coming on there, good positive substitution, local lad.
It's nice to see a local lad coming through Dundalk because we are always talking about these new players coming from abroad. And I'm always talking about how there's a lot of good players coming through the youth academies. So for Dundalk to get one through, I think is good as well.
Yeah, that is something that needs to be given credit to the club. They've really a massive new focus on the youth academy with Stephen McDonnell, another local man, coming in to be the head of the youth academy and overseeing operations there. Complete revamp.
So that's the way to go.
Credit there.
League of Ireland clubs anyway, though. Because, you can develop players, like, you don't have the finances technically to be paying transfer fees for players. It's very rare, and or given fairly big contracts as a whole, if you get me. So, it is generally, it should be the way to go, and it's something we need to. I think a lot of clubs have explored it. That's clear, because you can see a lot of them coming through the first teams. Bohs, they're a prime example as well. Like in other clubs as well, Waterford as well. Actually, funnily enough, with all the players they've brought in, I think some of their best players are still their youth academy players. Funnily enough. But,
and Longford too, they've got, I think, a 17 or 18-year-old who starts. I think he's left back or centre midfielder. They've got a few good young players too coming through.
Who's that? Sorry. Who?
Longford, I was saying that they use their youth as well, and
their best players, Dervin. He came through. He's a Longford man. He came through the academy there as well. So,
manager if Filippo goes. Yeah, but Shane Keegan's the manager.
Who do we want for manager? It's hard to say who would be the manager, because they're going to look outside. Because if you look within the league, I don't think there's an obvious candidate. I wouldn't mind Tim Clancy. He would be the only manager. Keith Long, massive respect to him, but I personally don't think it would translate to what Dundalk want to do. I think it would, Keith Long's perfect for Bohs. Amazing for Bohs. I don't think it would translate to where there's real pressure on Dundalk. It's like Moyes at United.
Yeah, it'd be the same as the likes of Ollie Horgan at Harps, brilliant for Harps, but might struggle at, say, Pats or someone like that, where expectations are a lot higher.
You see, with Keith Long, he has time and given opportunity to build up what he's built at Bohs, you see. See that opportunity to scramble in the box with Dundalk?
Yeah.
Those situations, isn't there? But nothing's really coming of it. It's
I feel like if Filippo was to go, I think the obvious choice would be to get Magilton in on an interim basis, because he managed Ipswich fairly successfully in the Championship. He managed Queen's Park Rangers. He's got good pedigree. Long term, I don't want that, because I want a director of football overseeing things, and I want Magilton because he seems like a good man to have there. But on an interim basis, you could do worse.
Yeah,
but on paper, he'd be a fantastic manager with his experience and contacts that he would have.
George Kelly close.
Oh, Kelly. Thought I missed the Bohs chance.
But it's just so much upheaval at Dundalk at the moment in terms of the direction we're trying to go in. And you were talking about the manager there. If they were to change, I think they would go abroad technically as well, because I think they've made a decision in their head that that's the way they want to go anyway as well. And having brought in so many players from abroad, you can't just cancel that project. They'll have to see that through. Whether that bears fruit or not. Roddy Collins, could you imagine? Roddy Collins at Dundalk.
The Rod Squad. He was supposed to be getting the job when Kenny was getting it. That's who I was seeing at the time.
He had a high ceiling, I have to say, but now.
What do you think of this, lads? Do you know with Dundalk, they're going to the foreign market relentlessly, they're buying loads of foreign lads. Why don't Dundalk just say, right, we want Mandrew off Rush Shamrock Rovers, here's €10,000 offer? I personally don't rate Mandrew an awful lot. No, the sense funny considering he scored against us. But I know what your point is. I think they had a fairly clear idea of what they wanted in terms of players, and there mightn't necessarily be that in the league. They did sign Junior, they did sign Peter Cherry. It's not as if they're adverse to signing Irish players. It's not always there. Sonny Nattestad, he's 6'6", left-footed centre back. That's a very specific profile that might be difficult to get within the League of Ireland. That's a hard profile to get in general. Obviously, he was scouted in that position, was looked at. Here's two players coming on for Bohs now.
Dawson Devoy.
Dawson Devoy and... who was that?
Yeah, you see, Dundalk, I think, have looked at other countries and looked at some of the weaker leagues, funnily enough, and seen that a lot of teams that are successful in Europe, because I think this is the big thing as well, have had foreign players in their team, an awful lot of them. I think simply that's the way they're looking at it. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. Like, I mean, most of the players have said it before they've brought in. They've got pedigree. They're internationals, good players. It might take a year to gel, and if it does gel, it might be excellent for them. Here's a chance here. Bohs have defended quite well at times, I have to say. All those crosses and stuff into the box have dealt with them. But it's something we haven't really seen before in the League of Ireland. Is it an influx of foreign players at one club at one time, if you get me? So it's intriguing.
Yeah. You know, once it's hard for some of these lads to gel, but at the same time, I try to look at the positives. And this might sound really silly, but if you're, a young impressionable kid growing up watching football, and you see a team of just Irish lads, it doesn't seem that attractive. When you look at the Premier League and you look at all the players from different countries, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. So I think foreign players are absolutely crucial for the league to move forward.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
In the Premier League in England, where there wasn't too many, well, you mightn't go there. There wasn't too many in it, and suddenly there was an influx of Ruud Hullets and Dennis Bergkamp, and we're like really excited. Like, because I remember I used to watch Italian football a lot. There was a thing in the telly. Can't remember.
Football Italia.
Yeah. Brilliant. All these players.
James Richardson.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? And all these players were coming to the Premier League, a league that was next door, and you were kind of seeing more so. And it was just like, so I see your point. Obviously, that's a little different, higher level, but I do get that point big time. The league, I mean, if you could get the right mix of clubs really developing your young players, like they're starting to do very well, by the way, and those right kind of players coming in, some will do well. Well, that's just natural. It leads to an intriguing situation, I think. Particularly in Europe. It'd be interesting to see how they do in Europe, actually. Once it's
we're going to be seeded until the playoffs if we get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could work out quite well.
The other side of it is because so many are from different kind of backgrounds. Like Kolovic clearly didn't work last year in terms of a settled way. So he clearly wanted to go back. There's a chance one or two might be like that as well. But these are the chances to take. And that could be the case. 4 minutes to go here. I'm still surprised it's 1-0. Even though there hasn't been a truckload of chances, it's open style football, isn't it?
It's one of the better 1-0s you're going to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I should have finished 1-0, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bit of drama.
Yeah, very good, yeah. No, I don't have much hope of Dundalk getting the equaliser here, I have to be honest.
As a new
Come on, Bohs. Hold on to it.
Doesn't look like it, but who knows?
Right. So who's your man of the match?
To be honest, forget about the penalty he scored. It's irrelevant. I think his all-round game. He's held up well. He's strong. He's put his arse into Dundalk players.
Definitely.
He's looked more confident. The pass was falling around like at every opportunity. Not on purpose. Just looked. I don't know what it was. This was falling and wasn't linking up with anyone. He'd have to be up there. I think the defenders, the centre half, done well for Bohs as well. But Dundalk's.
I think Gary Buckley has to be up there. I think every time Dundalk are in a relatively promising position, Gary Buckley just seems to get in his way.
Who'd you say? Sorry.
Oh no, not Gary Buckley.
Keith Buckley.
Keith Buckley. Sorry, I was going to say Liam Buckley there. Too many Buckleys in this league.
Would you pick out?
Yeah, Buckley's had a good game too. I think they all have for Bohs anyway. Kelly would be my man in the match for me. Like Keith said there, his all-round gameplay was really good. He did his role perfectly. He didn't really put a foot wrong, and his work rate has been really good. You've seen earlier, about a minute ago, he held the ball up in the corner really well. Oh, get rid of it.
Massive Dundalk appeals.
Quite close to him, I have to say, defensively. Whenever the ball.
Go.
Oh, Jesus, referee stitching us here.
See that there? All the boys complaining to the referee and Bohs is going. Love it.
It's hard to pick out a Dundalk individual, I have to say, isn't it, Conall?
Yeah, no one's no one
stood out. No one really stood out. I think Shields has been okay. He's actually been playing further up than normal, like we said earlier too, when he's been putting a few more forward passes than he normally would. I think Cleary's been okay as well.
I think Boyle's been quite good.
Yeah, I think them three are kind of the pick. I don't really think anyone else really stuck out.
I think it's a gelling issue. It really is a gelling issue, or lack of gelling at this minute in time, because
Giuseppe getting a yellow card.
Filippo got yellow hair.
Lack of link up play, and that's to do with here's a chance defending by that Cleary that time, or was that Boyle? That was Boyle.
Yeah, Boyle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good block. Put his body in line there for the team.
Like, it's a weird one. What looks like an obviously lose the last 2 games with looks things, but I still think it's positive, believe it or not. The Dundalk fans aren't going to see it because generally you're so focused on your own team that you don't see it.
Spoiled. They're spoiled.
It can happen, yeah, as well. You're right, though. You win so very much, but I'm getting into Europe, etc., getting into competitions there. But when you're watching it as a neutral kind of observer, you can kind of be clearer, I think, in a way. When I was vlogging the matches with fans, I used to prefer not to vlog St. Pat's matches generally, because I found the other games I was much clearer when it was other teams playing, and I enjoyed that aspect.
You can be more objective.
Yeah, very much so. But sometimes when you're doing a Pats one, you're not giving them credit when you should give them credit then, because they're kind of a bit...
Try not to be biased.
Yeah, exactly.
I find that with Gary Neville on Sky Sports with United.
Yeah, he's
and James Carragher with Leeds, with Liverpool. They try not to praise them too much and like give them a lot of stick if they're bad.
They're very conscious. Here's a free kick laid on. Who knows? Might be the best chance to have a score as well. But yeah, I find they're like that as well, and it's just a conscious thing, I think. There was one game I thought Pats should have had a penalty in last year, and I said it was a penalty. I actually thought it was. I don't know, because I would speak my mind, but when I don't know, just in those situations.
Oh, come on, boys. Jesus, the suspense now. We need to get keys. Is there only this much?
Sweet, yeah. Yeah, type that in. What do you read? Gary Buxley is a real player. Wait, he's a Sligo fan. Yeah. It's a big win for Bohs if they see it through. Be a massive point for Dundalk if they can nick one in terms of psychology and all that.
It's psychology, but like a point's not much good to us, really. Like no wins in 4, like it's not great. And then Pat's away next week. It doesn't get much easy.
That'll be interesting.
Oh, get rid of it.
It'll be an open enough game there as well, to be honest with you. I think that'll be open as well. But some week Dundalk are going to put 3 or 4 past someone. I just know by the way.
Yeah.
I know it looks, but it's there. The chances are there to get me. Even if the shots aren't going on, it's just that final ball, or there's an opportunity, or it's just not linking up right. But I wouldn't be worried about them in terms of that. Like, I think that's going to come. Defensively, I'm still worried in terms of the tactics. Oh,
how much out of time is there?
Couldn't be much.
Who's that? Mickey Duffy. No, that would be just about that, wouldn't it?
Not sure how much about it actually.
Couldn't be too much.
Let's hang on and get this win. This will be a brilliant win for us now if we can hang on and get it.
It's a big win. Hang on. No,
the worst bit of this is that, you know, after another loss, you're going to hear every microcosm of the club inspected, you know, and people giving out about this and that. And it's like, you wouldn't be saying that if we were winning. People will just look for stuff to give out about.
Yeah, very true.
Beast, isn't it, as well, unfortunately. But,
yeah.
I don't know, like, I don't know. It's just, you have talked about it, to be fair. Bohs are defended very well at times in this game. I have to say, the more it's gone on, the better they're defended as well.
I just feel like it's just hitting hope from Dundalk. Just get balls into the box, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just pepper and balls in the box, hoping someone gets it.
It's not really good.
The suspense here is killing me. Come on. Blow the whistle, ref.
Oh, you'll be grand, Daz. Don't worry.
I think I'd give Kelly man the match. We've fallen very closely from Cornwall, I think.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
It's the fence there.
Presumably it's 4 minutes added on here. I'm not really sure where they even got that from, to be honest.
Yeah.
Another one peppered into the box, and there's another Bohs defender to head it away. Is that a throw or corner? Game over?
It's not over for me yet.
Yeah, it's over.
Is that over?
Yeah, it's over. So
yeah.
Yes! Come on, Bohs! What a win!
So obviously Dundalk nil, Bohs won. Look, strange game in a way because I mean it finished 1-0, but an early enough goal as well. But it's not over yet, is it? Hang on, now he's blown.
No, actually, no one. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody was like hugging and shaking hands there for a second, and then they went back.
Wait till I let the keeper kick it out. But disappointing for Dundalk.
Yay!
Bohemians.
I'll do it again. Woo!
But I don't know, it's just on to next week, I suppose, for Dundalk, and as you mentioned, the Pats away.
What a win!
They're going to win soon, though. Dundalk could well be next week. Is it Pats at Richmond Park? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I'm fairly certain it's at Richmond. Yeah,
but that's another interesting one. Bohs are up against Waterford, I think, but massive win for Bohs, and you could just tell the Bohs, I don't know, from a neutral point of view, there, just like they look more like a team at this minute in time than Dundalk. I don't think it's all bad for Dundalk. Fans will see it. But Shane Keegan's not happy with the ref, probably for the penalty, I'd imagine, which you have to see again.
Yeah, it's bad if you're getting an earful from Shane Keegan. He's a lovely fella.
Isn't it amazing how managers and other various coaches at times they can just lose their shit, can't they, very quickly?
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Oh no, it's at Oriel next week. Oriel.
Oh, at Oriel next week. So
yeah.
Look, that's an interesting game as well, but that's a game for another day for Dundalk as well. But overall, what's your thoughts, Don?
I expect nothing. I'm still disappointed. That's probably the lowest I've felt after any game this season. Even against Sligo, I didn't think it was too bad. Rovers last week, I thought it was quite good for most of it. Finn Harps obviously was pretty bad, but tonight we created very, very little, and it wasn't as if Bohs played out of their skin. They let us have the ball a bit, they give us a bit of space. And over 90 minutes, we could do absolutely nothing. So, yeah, very disappointed, but sure.
Like they started off well, Dundalk, and could have caught the ball early on. They had a couple of opportunities. Probably should have scored actually before the penalty. The longer it went on, they seemed to run out of ideas, Dundalk actually. And as you said, they were lumping the ball into the box, hoping someone would get Hooven or Macmillan would get a head onto. But those are brilliant defensively as well. Just kept their concentration. And from Bohs' point of view, Daz probably started off slowly and got better as the game went on, which is the opposite of Dundalk in a way. Just fairly slow, and he's a big smile on his face there, isn't he?
I'm delighted. What a win. I'm so happy with that. We got a win, 3 points, a clean sheet. Kelly came back and haunted Dundalk. We put a penalty away. We played so much better. We pressed from the front. They passed the ball around a lot more. They didn't just go direct. They worked as a team unit. They were a lot more organised. They got stuck in. They made chances and they kept going the whole game. Fully deserved the 3 points. We didn't outplay Dundalk. We definitely didn't, but we gave them a game and a half and we wanted it more and we made sure we got them 3 points. Absolutely vital win. Hopefully now we'll carry on that form to Waterford next week. I'm delighted. We needed to get a win. We got a win against Dundalk. A lot of people didn't think we would. Had a draw written all over, I thought. But look, I don't know if it's a penalty or not. I'm probably going to sound a bit like a manager here now. I'd have to see that replay, to be honest with you. But
I just couldn't see it properly.
Yeah, I couldn't either. But look, the thing is, he got the penalty, he scored it, and we held on and we got the win and we kept a clean sheet. Brilliant result for us. Our first win of the season. I'm delighted with it overall.
Yeah, see, that's it as well. It's still not, people think it's Dundalk, but it's still very difficult to beat Dundalk. I mean, as a Pats fan, I'm looking at the game next week with Dundalk with serious wounded animal syndrome, you know, because they're going to win at some stage. They are going to win very quickly.
Yeah.
Next week, they're winning the following week. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're just too good. Like, I know the players they have are too good, like that. They're not going to be winning games. So, you know what I mean? I suppose from the Dundalk's point of view, Cole, I know it's early in the season, but the title, can they challenge for the title, do you think, or does it depend on other things as well?
You know, this might sound a bit mad, but I still think possibly yes, because I'm not that convinced about Shamrock Rovers without Jack Byrne, without Aaron McAneff. I think they'll be considerably worse this season. Yeah, you know, Dundalk could get a couple of wins and go on a brilliant run. It seems quite far away at the moment, but yeah, if you're being objective about it, I think, yeah, nothing's ruled out 4 games into a season. There's 32 games left to play.
They actually look like, when you watch them, like, and really analyze them, they look like they transition, literally, don't they? They really do look like a transition.
Yeah,
so it's very
yeah.
There. Daz, what's the expectations for Bohs now? Obviously, winning first of all and getting back on the horse, I suppose. Is it just trying to go on a bit of a run if possible? And is it still the objective for you making the Europe places?
Well, look, yeah, realistically, I know I said, look, top 3. That's being optimistic. It is. We lost Wright as their top scorer. We lost the wingers, which I've highlighted many times. Danny Mandrouk before he was out of the team. Even Casey and the centre backs. We've lost a lot of players, and refilling them is very hard, especially the wingers. So I don't think we've done it. Malin and Omasheri were out tonight as well. Let's make no mistake about that. We didn't really have wingers in the team tonight. We were highlighting that at the start. I think going forward, the objective would be to build on our form of tonight, get a win against Waterford. I'd even take a draw against Rovers, because, you know, they are up there. They're probably very hard for anyone to beat. But I think going on a kind of a run now for Bohs is key, and keep this form up. And, you know, we can only build on tonight now. Our first win of the season, and very disappointing results before tonight. We could have been in a very different place, but that's going with what ifs and buts. We have to go on the here and now, and we got to win tonight, a clean sheet, and hopefully it's a way forward now of winning games and going on a run and a bit of form. So I'm delighted with the 3 points, and look, we pulled up against Waterford. It's going to be a very hard game, and hopefully, you know, we can go in and get a win against them as well.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing as well. I think a gutsy win like that away to Dundalk for Bohs is probably even better than winning 3-0 or something like that, to be honest. Because, you know, it really built the character, the unity in that team again. Like Dundalk, there's a lot of players who they simply don't know each other, never mind on the pitch. And I think that's the thing, and that's the issue they have at the moment. Do you see that changing soon, Conall? Do you think it's simply down to a win and you go on a run? Or do you just think they're going to be inconsistent this season because of the changes, I suppose, at the club?
Well, you know, obviously, you know, as a Dundalk fan at the start of the season, you're thinking, can we win the league? Can we challenge for the league? And, you know, we mightn't even nearly get there at this stage. But I always thought Rovers would win the league purely because of their stability. You know, there's a lot of turnover. Some of it's the club's fault. Some of it isn't even the club's fault. Again, as I said about it coming to a natural end, a natural cycle, any team. But I just don't see how you can sign. You must have signed about 10 players or something like that by the time Zahibo and possibly Tom Gaston, the third choice goalkeeper. Must be 10 or 11 signings, losing 7 or 8 players. It would have been unbelievable to win the league, given them circumstances. So, yeah, honestly, I think just get Europe and see what we can do. It's going to be a transitional season.
I think, though, just on that point, Bohs are like that every season. We always lose 6 or 7 players and replace them with 6 or 7 different players every season. Even this season, we lost our wingers, we lost our striker, attacking midfielder, centre-backs. We lost so many players. But not just this season. Season before last and before last again was the same story. So it can be done. You know, we've been finishing up there. The players gel, they get together, they get team rhythm going. It can be done. And Dundalk is going through a bit of a bad patch in a minute, but I think it will work out, and a few of their players will start shining through and show their ability and their talent, and they definitely have that. But they're individuals at the minute. But once they become a team and a unit, they'll be very hard to beat, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I suppose Lipo out gang will be out tonight, though, won't they?
Yeah, no, I just won't look at Twitter.
But to be honest, lads, I mean, I've seen a few questioning Keith Long there recently as well, which I thought.
I thought that was just absolutely ridiculous. It sickened me seeing it. How could you question Keith Long out after 2 games? Keith Long? No, I can't. It really irritated me. He's done an absolutely amazing job. I'm going to go on record. If Bohs got relegated this season, I wouldn't want Keith Long to go.
Yeah.
No, hopefully not. No, I wouldn't want to go. I think he's a top manager, and like Conall said, he's a perfect fit for us, and he's just perfect for Bohs in all around, and he's got such a respect from everyone at the club and the league, and he's a brilliant manager for us, and he's done such really good things at the club. Calling for Keith Long out, I think you really need to give your head a bit of a wobble and get back to reality, and a few games in, especially for Dundalk, you can't really be calling for Filippo's head just.
No. You can. I think you can ask questions about Filippo though, because I suppose I would have asked questions from the beginning, but I would have reservations. But I wouldn't be saying he needs to go to get me. I just have reservations. But those reservations can only be shown and proven to me over time. You get me? So
absolutely. Yeah.
You need to give it time to play out. Some people have had their knives out for Filippo, and from day one. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're almost hoping he fails. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just be like, oh yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's it too. But we'll see what happens at the end of the season, or maybe we'll see before that. Who knows? But he seems like Filippo. He actually seems like a really nice character and all that, though.
Yeah.
I like his interviews and stuff like that. So I'd actually like him to do well, to be honest with you. I never say there's a manager I like to do bad anyway, to be honest. But, I'd kind of like him to do well. It'd be interesting if he could do well, because to get someone in from abroad that can actually make a name for themselves in the league would be a little bit refreshing, managerial-wise anyway, which would be fantastic. So, look, Dundalk could go win their next 5 matches and everything's rosy again. I can see Bohs after that, especially the gutsy way it was. I can actually see them not losing too many games in the next 10 matches. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 1 maximum in the next 10 matches. The past smile. I hope you're right.
Well, all you need is 1 win to get you going.
Yeah, and you can just I can tell by the way that was a Keith Long type performance tonight. If you get me as well. In a way as well, so I can see them going on a run there as well. So look, it's going to be interesting in the next few weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Every week is different. I'm nervous about Pats playing Dundalk next week. I have to say, I think I'd be less nervous if Dundalk had won their first 4 matches.
Exactly. Yeah,
there's a bit of pressure on Pats now suddenly for that game against Dundalk, because suddenly people are saying, Pats won't lose this. And Dundalk probably got the better players. Now, Pats do look a bit like Bohs tonight. Pats look like a unit at the moment. But that's a very interesting game again next week. Every week is interesting games. Obviously, Shamrock Rovers and Sligo now on Saturday. All right, Saturday tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a big game as well, because Sligo have looked very good early on as well. Rovers have got results without being brilliant. A lot of people would argue they were fortunate enough against Dundalk. More fortunate than, say, Bohs were tonight against Dundalk, if you get me. But that's a really interesting game, because Shamrock Rovers have an opportunity to kind of put Sligo Rovers back in the box. The Sligo Rovers have an opportunity to say, look, we actually can give this a rattle this season. So a lot of people see them as favourites nearly to challenge Shamrock Rovers. It's very early to say that, though. It's far from cry for Sligo Rovers last season when they lost their first 4 matches to be in a possible title race. I don't think they can go the distance, personally, if I'm honest with you. I think but they could finish second, actually. They could finish second, Sligo. It'll be an interesting one. Right, lads, suppose before we go, any final words, any final comments? Conall just wants to
I'm just going to bounce.
For Conall. But
look, I'm absolutely delighted with the result tonight. I don't care how we played. We needed to get a win. We got the win. We got the penalty, scored the goal, kept the clean sheet, bounce on from this now, go on a run form, beat Waterford next week. Everything's happy again. A brilliant result. I'm absolutely delighted with it.
No, I agree. And Conall, I suppose you can lick your wounds and batter the Saints next week. So
hopefully.
guys. Much appreciated. Enjoyed. It was
No
great.
problem at all.
It turned out to be a decent game. So thanks very much again. And
Cheers, lads.
again at some point. Thanks
Right.
a million. Brilliant.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Good luck.
Brilliant stuff.